shack at. The bottles getting empty up the crack and we stacking chips. All of it's what I want. Plus money winners, that's what I'm on. You can say I'm gone. I prefer elevated public sports radio. Time to get educated, get produced. Leave the juice, letting loose with so much abuse that the bookies wanna call it truth. They getting slaughtered. Can't forget Jeff and low baggers in the chat. That's a lethal weapon 'cause we be pubbing.
What up, campers, gamblers, punters, hustlers, low baggers? Happy Friday, April 28th to all of you. Thank you for watching Betting with the I just lost the light. Great. It's been a tough morning. Had the light go out. I think we still have enough light to roll on. It's been a great week. Kept everything clean yesterday. 3-1 in NHL plus 2 units. 3-1 in MLB plus 2 units. 6-2 plus 4 units. 26-16 plus 9.37 units on the week. 8-2 on the show this week in NHL plus 6.18 units. 14-8 in MLB plus 5.39 units. Giving a little bit back in NBA. 4-6 down 2.2 units. As per usual, but I'm locked in right now. We are a week away. Just 1 week away from the Kentucky Oaks. 8 days away from the Kentucky Derby. And I just feel locked in. I feel like we're all locked in right now. We're seeing things clearly. We're working hard. This is a time of year where we should be cashing. At least for me, it's my best time of year. Playoffs in NBA and NHL and MLB underway, and enough stats for us to really make educated decisions. There's our guy Viper NB in the house. So it could have been easy 4-0, but took a bad beat there with the Braves. Vipers on the Bruins -1. I can't wait. A market going against the team total as well. A team total of 3.5 now at even money. I can't wait. I absolutely can't wait for the hockey game. Nats team total over 3.5. Minnesota -1.5. Wow. Oh, wait. That must be baseball. Okay. That's baseball. Sorry. I thought he was taking a wild on the reverse. That's not happening. Let me copy and paste that from our guy, Viper NB. Thank you for sharing that with us. We have a monster show today. Bobano back in action with us for MLB and NHL. And then LJ from HTown going to be rolling with us. Spenny Pennybomb says, just one time can the Leafs not cause me emotional distress? That second goal on Samsonov was the weakest, most typical Leaf bullshit goal. Yeah, no, it's not good. Billy Friedrich got off to a rough start, turned around late. Thanks to NHL. I love it. There's Jay Smooth in the house. New Cooker says the parade up Yonge Street has been delayed until further notice. It's too bad that I lost money on the Leafs game. I took Lightning first period instead of full game. And took the under that push, but took the under 1.5 first period. The game was an under game, and the Lightning were the better team. And it's too bad I didn't get paid off, but it was a winning day in NHL. Stay 3-1, so it's all good. There's Troy Torrance ready to go. Spenny says those plans have been sitting around for 60 years. Nuke, yes, they have. Ryan Mueller, Alex Hills, Billy Friedrich, Justin McElvey. Alex Hill says he'll be in attendance for tonight. Isles versus Canes. Says a best bet would be awesome. Alex, we'll talk about the game deep, with Bobano. Billy Friedrich on the Canes, puck line. North Ender, TJ, gift now of 15-5. I love it. I absolutely love it, TJ. I had a very stressful time, just with the workload. Sorry I haven't got back to you, TJ, but I will. I will get back to you as well. What a great group. Jay Peasy in the house. Justin McElvey, Stacks play of the day. White Sox team total over 3.5. Let's copy that here. That's the Stacks play of the day. Thank you for sharing that with us. Get that locked in here. D. Jenkins, Series Business, Larry Garr. Yeah, it was a wild watch. The draft's fun, man. The draft is fun. Christopher Comentini, North Ender, Slatsy 3-1-1, but he says he can't believe the Rangers no-show. He's on Bruins money line and 5.5 at plus 160, and Bruins team total over 3.5. Wild that's gone to even money. He's on pass to shots over 4.5. Copy and paste that. Let's copy and paste that right now. And here we go. There we go. Okay. Bo Jackson ready to go. Michael Johnson. Great to see you. Mr. Vape says 4-1 day. He would have gone 5-0 if it wasn't for that Atlantic collapse. Subhuman Gaucho. Yes, got the Nords hat on. It's been a while since I rocked the Nords hat. Andy Savage, nice to see you. Great to have you back in action. Danny Lopez, Christopher Comentini, Isaac Torres, Mally Mal in the house. OG, as OG as they get with us, with Loshak in the bag. Billy Friedrich stars -1.5 plus gains -1.5. Reverse puck line parlay tonight at plus 12.45. That's huge payout. That is a huge, huge payout. Let's go. Copy and paste that. It's going to be fun. It's already fun. Cheshire Cat says, I forgot Grubauer was a Vezina nominee. You know, Grubauer's won cups. You know, what cup? And he won the Memorial Cup and Stanley Cup. He's stepping up. No doubt about it. But it's Colorado playing bad, and we'll break all that down. Nuclear at Tampa plus 140. Absolutely beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Browns Hughes says the early market love on the Mets. I'm fine with it. I'm fine with it because I've doubled up on that game, and it just tells me that Peterson's going to pitch well. You know, so I have no concern there. White Sox team total over for Mike Wilkerson. Great group. 1 of 1. Benny, Troy Torrance, Danielson, Rocco Rogers ready to get to work. Joe Yurkovich in the house. Nut Flush Allen says bags are packed. Bankroll is double rubber banded. Kristen said I better be ready to party in Vegas. Let's start with this. If I missed any of you, I apologize. I wish I could shout you all out. But happy birthday to Nut Flush Allen. Leads by example in every facet of life. I'm very fortunate to be your friend, Mike. I look up to you. And you inspire me capping and as a family man. So happy birthday. Big happy birthday to Nut Flush Allen. What better time to have a birthday than a Friday off to Vegas with his beautiful wife. I love it. Shout out to you, Nut Flush Allen. North Ender in the house. Thank you. Thank you. Yes, it feels really good. And we need to milk this shit. This is my best time of year. We need to make as much money as possible. We have to keep our foot on the gas. So last night in NHL, we're going to start with NHL and Bobano. We have a 4-game NHL card. This week, we're 8-2 plus 6.18 units in NHL. The Knights -1 was our easiest bet of the year. I don't think there'll ever be an easier bet. It was beautiful. Exactly how we wrote it up. Lightning first period plus 120 was a push. Tampa Toronto first period under 1.5 was a loss. And New York Rangers, New Jersey Devils first period under 1.5 cashed. New York Rangers, New Jersey Devils under 5.5 cashed. All right. And there's our guy Sharpie in the house. Says we smacked the 1K prop we had yesterday. 60% on 50 plays this year. 1 smash spot today. And he's got a lot of money on that smash spot and balking dead. 3:10 p.m. Eastern. Here on Pub Sports Radio. There's Luch in the house. Says he's 27 and all he's known is pain with this team. Welcome. Think I have any compassion for you from a Vancouver Canucks fan? I hope you continue to feel pain. I hope every hockey fan only loses. I hope there's no Stanley Cup given out for the next 50 years. Yeah, Troy. Just hit me, email it would be great. Email it, jimmythebag@hotmail.com. Okay. Let's get to work right now in NHL. Bobano will be joining us here shortly. Rocco Rogers had 4 units on the Knights, a full game regulation. I love it. Let's go. We start in NHL, 7 p.m. Eastern. First round, game 6. Carolina leading the series 3-2. Hurricanes 52-21-9 in the regular season, but didn't look so good in the 10 games or 15 or 20 games leading into the playoffs. They were very good on the road all year, 24-11-6 at New York Islanders, 42-31-9, 25-13-3. So there, look, the record is still negative overall, and it's not like going to be this huge rejoice when I'm, in the black. But I told you I'm going to be in the black, and I'm going to get there, and I'm going to get there fast. In a perfect world, and sometimes I say things out loud just so I can hear them, so that I can follow them because I can't. You saw when I said I don't want to bet game ones. I don't want to bet game ones. We went on a 17-2 run last year in the playoffs, staying away from game ones. And yet I still made a few bets on game ones, and I had negative ROI on those bets. And Sharp even said in the chat, do what's been working. I still did it. But if tonight, so we're 8-2 on the week. If tonight I only have the Bruins -1, the Bruins team total over 3.5, and I'm sitting on the Stars to win the series at -145, that's perfect. I put 500 on that Stars to win the series after getting killed. Not this past Sunday, but the Sunday before. just like an idiot, drunken schmuck trying to win it all back with one bet. I'm gonna take $100, and that will be the hedging for that series. I'm gonna bet $100 on Minnesota money line. If they win tonight, I'll take both the $100 that I bet and whatever cashes. Maybe I might make it 110, but whatever. I'll put so it'll be around 200 or so onto the money line again. That's it. So that will be all the hedging I will do for that series. Spenny says, I think Minnie takes it back to Dallas for Game 7. So if I could just sit here with only the Boston Bruins and only the Stars to win the series, that would be perfect. I would like to do that. But there are some opportunities here in this game, and we are going to attack them now. Please welcome from Canada's black and yellow, Canada's steel town, Mr. Ian Cameron to the show. Bobano, how are you?
It's been a while. Holy mackerel. It's been a long time since I've been on, but good to be back.
It is great to have you back, and we have a juicy card for us to attack here. Billy Friedrich has 2 units on Dallas to win the series, then bet another 2 units after game 1 at plus 120. I love it. So let's get to work. Bobano, Carolina Hurricanes at the New York Islanders, UBS Arena in Elmont, New York. First most important question is, will it be Antti Ranta or Freddie Anderson? What's your expectation?
I can't see them turning away from Antti Ranta after just one loss the other night, especially when Freddie Anderson hasn't played in a while. Freddie Anderson doesn't have a good playoff track record. I like the Islanders if it's Freddie Anderson, honestly, in this game tonight. I do lean Islanders, but I haven't made up my mind if I'm going to bet him yet.
Yeah, I think it's probably Ranta. They have been dangling Freddie Anderson here. Ranta in the playoffs, 2.59 goals against average, 906 save percentage. And he was good in front of a strong hockey team this year. 19-3 and 3, 2.23 goals against average, 910 save percentage. Freddie Anderson was at 903 save percentage. Billy Friedrich, who watches these games, all the Carolina Hurricanes games very closely, said he'd be surprised if it's not Ranta. Okay, so that's done. So we have Ranta going up against Ilya Sorokin. I can always tell if a goalie is spectacular when his playoff numbers are exactly the same or just a little bit better than his regular season numbers. And Ilya Sorokin, 31, 22, and 7, 2.34 goals against average, 924 save percentage, 6 shutouts in the regular season. He's got a 2.77 goals against average, but a 923 save percentage here in the playoffs. So the Hurricanes' power play is being better than we expected it to be. Their penalty killing has been very, very strong. The Islanders' special teams have been so weak. How are the Islanders still in this series? And the answer is Sorokin. Playoffs, the Islanders have a 6.7% power play. Now, Barzal did score an absolute beauty last game, so maybe he can get some confidence. Pierre Engvall has proven to be an excellent pickup. They had not scored a first-period goal in 9 straight games, playoff games for the Islanders, but Engvall changed that. So you have special teams poor, face-offs around the same, a goaltending advantage for the New York Islanders, and then home ice for the New York Islanders. Carolina, again, of course, without Svechnikov and Teravainen, they don't look that good. They don't look that deep. In saying that, I'm hesitant to move on an under in this game with it juiced the way it is. And it's not like I took the under in the last game and it was an elimination game. I'm not going to expect worst case scenarios, but Bobano has made that third period over a very hot angle in our community, and I respect it very much. But here,
should have had it in Winnipeg, Vegas last night. That was bullshit, and I'm still pissed about it.
That was wild. 6 minutes.
Yeah.
6 minutes. Absolutely wild. But here, I think that Ranta is somewhat vulnerable. I just hesitate. I could see if the Islanders get up early, I could see them, scoring a bunch of goals in this game. If the Carolina Hurricanes get up early, I could see them scoring a bunch of goals in this game. So I'm just a little hesitant for the unders that I've been hammering in each game in the series. Take it away for us here. Bobano back in action here on Betting with the Bag. Hurricanes, Islanders.
If you like the under, when you bet it, you bet the first period under, because the first period under is won in every single game in this series. That's the way you approach it if you like the under, especially in an elimination game. It's even more important to stress that to everybody, that in the elimination games, if you like a game to be lower scoring, at least to start, don't bet full game, bet first period. Okay, because you really run the risk of those third period explosions taking place in games like that, like we saw with Tampa Toronto, for instance, last night. That third period over cashed. So that was an elimination game. So again, with the elimination games last night, the third period over went 1-1. You probably could argue it should have went 2-0 because the Jets' Golden Knights was just an absolute monstrosity for anyone that had the third period over there, and that you deserved a better fate. But nevertheless, that's what I'm looking at here. Third period over in this game for an official play. I'm going to go third period. It looks like the best, and there's a lot of books that offer this pregame, the third period totals. A lot of books are offering this now. You can find, I think, the best one out there is at Bet Rivers. There's over 2 plus 128 at Bet Rivers in the third period. That's what we're going to lock in for sure. And I'm also going to go over, since there's 5s out there, I'm going to go over 5 minus 130 at Pinnacle as well in this game. So a couple of overs. I do like the third period over a little bit more, but I honestly think we get 5 minimum in this game. I feel comfortable at 5 getting in on the full game over, but I do like the third period over. Personally, I have a little bit more money on the third period over, but I do like both. I lean Islanders, and I feel they really got a certain amount of momentum coming into this game after the Game 5 road win in Carolina. But at the same time, I thought for sure I'd be on the Islanders tonight. But then I look back at the box score. I'm looking back at the extended highlights and the condensed game from the last game. It's not like the Islanders played great. I mean, Carolina, had a bunch of chances. Sorokin was awesome, especially late, trying to hold up the lead. I worry that if the Islanders don't take their game to another level, even being back at home here at UBS, Carolina's capable at least, of closing out this series tonight. We saw that obviously in Game 4, that they are capable of winning on the road here finally, and they broke the long road playoff losing streak. They had lost 9 straight road playoff games dating back to the start of last year. So I'm probably going to end up having a couple bucks on the Islanders, but I'm not making it official. I'm just going to stick to over 5 and over third period, over 2 plus 128.
Over 2 plus 128. Big shout out to Justin McElvey gifting a Pub Sports Radio membership, and our guy Johnny Gilpatrick getting it. It's beautiful. Love it. So Bobano on the third period over 2 plus 128 and the over 5 at minus 130. I cannot trust the Islanders to get me the goal when I need it. Now, after Barzal scored a beauty. Now, maybe, he can catch fire. Some of those passes.
That's what you got to hope for. And that's what I'm thinking, that maybe Barzal got going. Nelson got going. What if Horvat joins the party? And what a disappointing series it's been for him. Absolutely awful so far. But what if he gets going?
North Ender's asking, is that over 2 on the 3-way? It isn't it? Is it?
No, it's not a 3-way total. It's just 2-way. It's over 2 plus 128 at Bet Rivers. I scanned far and wide, high and low when it comes to these third period totals that you can bet before the game starts. That's by far the best I found in terms of the price. In fact, if you like over 1.5, you want 2 as the win number, and you could actually lay the least amount of vig possible is also Bet Rivers over 1.5 in the third period at minus 159. But I don't want to put that much of a price in my pocket here on this for show purposes. So over 2 plus 128 for me.
Wow. And look at our guy, Sammy Culmer, with a $27.99 dono.
Wow.
What a guy. Thank you, Sammy.
Sammy's one of our pillars of the channel.
He sure is. And then Billy Friedrich shouting out Smoke and Mirrors for gifting Billy another monthly membership on different Pub Sports feed. You guys, thank you so much. It means so much to us for your support. Sammy Culmer, thank you, man. Blessing our picks with this dono. I love it. I absolutely love it. And I've successfully talked about a playoff game and not bet it. All right, let's see if I can get the other ones down as well. That is Carolina Islanders over 5 at minus 130, and Bobano in the third period over 2. Let's move on to my slam dunk spot, 7:30 p.m. Eastern. I've not made a single bet on the Boston Bruins at home in this series. I also am not brilliant. I didn't take the Panthers in those games. I just stayed off of them. I also didn't bet the Bruins live when it was staring me in the face all in that game. And, honestly, if there wasn't the star player coming back, and I think a little bit more pressure for the Bruins actually to win at home after their spectacular season. They go out on the road, they can just play clean hockey, in my estimation. I think they're going to be juggernauts on the road in the series, and they'll be very good at home too. But first round, you're playing against a team that has no pressure on them. But on the road, I've taken them on the -1 line every game, and I'm doing it again with confidence. So let's take a look at the line history. Also, my apologies for not talking about the line history in the Islanders game. By the way, I'll give you that really quickly. Opening up at -113, that's where it is. It's not moved. And total wise, this opened up at 5. There's been a move to the over at 5. A legit move to the over. It's come back a little bit, but a move to the over. So here in Boston, Florida, Boston opening up at -163. They're now -176. It's been very interesting watching the team total go down to over 3.5 with no vig, because there are 6.5s now on the board. Now it's a heavily juiced to the under, but there are 6.5s now on the board from the opening at 6. So I'm surprised that I guess there's an expectation here that the Panthers are going to score goals, or it's implied in the total going up and the team total for the Bruins going down is that they're going to score goals. So Larry Garr, thank you for being a member. That means a ton to us, my friend. So here, let's start talking about all the angles here. First off, in Game 5, Boston outshot Florida 47-25, and they won 62.3% of the faceoffs. I think 1 out of every 10 games, Florida will win with that stat break there. Maybe 1 out of every 15 games. You could go as far as saying 1 out of every 20. But 1 out of probably 12 games, maybe they win with that stat line. Bergeron now has a game under him, and Krejci's traveling with the team. I don't know if Krejci will play. So then we go next. Linus Ullmark. Look, that was a mistake he made. And God, it was fun listening to Garrett and Shorty doing the play-by-play. The Canucks guys doing the play-by-play. I mean, that's just, for me, that's magic, just hearing their voice. But Ullmark made the mistake. He made a mistake, and it's cost his team the game. He went 46-1 this year with a 1.89 goals against average, .938 save percentage. If I have a goaltender with those kind of numbers and he makes a mistake, I can't wait to watch him in the next game. And I imagine every single Bruin is very excited to see what Ullmark does after making that blatant mistake. Then Sergei Bobrovsky. Look, that's fine that Maurice called your performance brilliant, but there's a reason why there's been a 30-year-old journeyman playing and not you. And I dare you, Sergei Bobrovsky, to take money out of my wallet tonight. I do. And if you can do it, I respect it. But I don't believe that you are capable of standing on your head and being an excellent goaltender. I really don't. You have an .895 save percentage in the playoffs, a .901 in the regular season. That's who you are. 4.12 goals against average. That's just who you are. You have Boston with a 31.6% power play in the series, 84.6 penalty killing, and they're winning 53.3% of the faceoffs. You want to see that on the other side for Florida? That's 15.4% power play, 68.4% penalty killing, and 46.7% faceoff winning percentage. I love this spot. I don't care what the market does. I don't care what anybody does. I'm on the Boston Bruins on the -1 line with enormous confidence, and the Bruins team total over 3.5, and it doesn't feel too much different from last night with Vegas. Take it away for us, Bobano, Boston Bruins, Florida Panthers.
There's a lot of action I've got on this game. I think I've got 6 bets that I'm going to make official on this very one game tonight. So buckle your seatbelt. And I'm with you on the mantra that Boston is the kind of team we want to trust and believe in coming off the kind of loss they had in Game 5. The kind of team that won't get rattled by it. In fact, they'll just be fueled by it. They'll be bolstered by it. And they have obviously no issues. And if there's one single building in these entire Stanley Cup playoffs in a first round that's been dominated by road teams where nobody is going to be quaking in their boots going in there to play, it's Florida. Okay, that is not a big time home ice advantage down there for the Panthers. In fact, I'm sure there'll be a lot of Bruins fans in attendance. So, obviously a tough loss. I right away went to hear what Linus Ullmark had to say after his awful turnover and gaffe, although it's not all his fault. When you look at it, one of his teammates have to make themselves available to receive the pass, and both of them just basically went right in where Ullmark was, and he couldn't get them the puck. You've got to be available, make yourself available to get the puck, receive the pass from your goaltender. And they screwed up every bit as much, I think, as Allmark. Allmark's taken all the heat, but there's blame to go around for that goal going in. But he said all the right things. It's just you got to be like a goldfish. You got to forget about it. That kind of, I mean, it was just everything he said made me feel good about Allmark going into tonight, that he's going to park it, forget about it. And you watch him, he's going to play a hell of a game. And Jimmy Murphy, my buddy on the Ice Guys show, who's on the show with us for years, he said the same thing. He would be shocked if Allmark doesn't play a huge game tonight in Florida for the Bruins. And I think they play well for him as well. Bergeron being back now for a second game, got a little bit of the rust, and he still scored a goal. Beautiful tip, and he'll be more comfortable. Marchand and Pasternak are both talking, we have to shoot the puck tonight. We absolutely have to do that. We've got to get more pucks on net. I don't know how they're not happy with the amount of pucks they had on net the other night, over 40, but apparently they want to shoot the puck even more. So I think that's going to be something to watch for here in this game tonight. So when I look at this matchup here, let's start with the props. Let's do the props first, then we'll get into the sides and the totals. I am on as far as the prop market goes, and Pasternak has said I have to have a shoot. You saw the same quote as I did there. I think Slatsy put it in the chat with the shoot first mentality. I'm on over 4.5 shots on goal, -110 at BetMGM for David Pasternak tonight. I think he's definitely going to be someone. And look, he wants to get going. He knows he's kind of been not exactly ripping it offensively here the last few games. I think you definitely see him firing every puck he can at Sergei Bobrovsky tonight. So I like over 4.5 shots on goal for Pasternak. That's an official play. And let's go to sides and total. I think I'm just going to stop there. I mean, I like goal props with Marchand and Pasternak, but I don't know if I want to make. I'm tempted though. I am tempted because the prices are good. It's going to make it's going to make the unit count go up, because I really do think both of them have a real solid chance to find the back of the net here tonight. I'm gonna do it, Jimmy. Why not? I'm a high volume guy. I always have been. Why abandon ship now? I'm going to go Brad Marchand goal +210 at BetMGM. And I'm also going to go with Pasta. It's Pasta's night, I think, to strike, +105 at FanDuel. So there you go. +210 Marchand goal scorer prop, +105 David Pasternak goal scorer prop. We're not done yet. I'm on the same bet you are. Boston -1, -112 at Pinnacle. I'm on Boston team total over 3.5, -104 at Pinnacle. I'm on the full game over in this game, which I've been on now the last couple in this series. Let me just see what the best price for that is. It's over 6, -120 at BetMGM. And of course, you know what I'm also on in an elimination game, over 2, -122 at Bet Rivers in the third period. So there you go. That's everything for me. Bruins, Panthers.
Let's review your action here. Also, how a player that I don't like at all. How good is Taylor Hall look out there?
Now I do have a prop on him to score tonight too, but I'm keeping that off official. I think this is more on Pasternak tonight. I think it's his night. I really do. But I like Hall. I'm a betting Hall again, just not making it official.
Yeah, no, I get it. But I've been surprised watching how good he's looked. Pasternak over 4.5 shots, -110. Pasternak goal, +105. Marchand goal, +210. Bruins -1 at -112. Bruins team total over 3.5, -104. The over 6 at -120. In the third period, over 2 at -122. There you have it.
This is my highest volume game of the night, so that's kind of like with you. I'm very, very interested in it.
I can't wait. Side said, I wish we were all watching this game together. What a celebration of the Bruins' role. Just like the Knights game, I was thinking about that, Mark Stone dominating those Manitoba boys, taking it to the Jets. All of it's just been, spectacular to watch and to see. I see young sweet T Tits Bouquet in the background. Jose
Bruin fan as well.
I just joined you guys on the -1, and I have just put a significant amount of money on it. Easily probably my biggest hockey bet of the year. So I'll be sweating this with my shirt off, just like my father. So it'll be a lot of fun.
That's exactly how we rock. Nats Nate says Bruins smash. God, this playoffs are so much fun, man. Holy shit. My mom was saying, oh, this is what hockey's supposed to look like. After watching the Canucks all year, she's like, "Oh, of course, I haven't seen hockey like this." There we go. That's the Bruins game. Let's move on to 9:30 p.m. Eastern. West first round game 6. Dallas leading the series 3-2. Stars 47, 21, and 14, 25, 11, and 5 on the road this year. Up against the Wild 46, 25, 11, 25, 12, and 4 at home. We're at XL Energy Center. We talked about how good we thought Jake Ottinger was going to be in game 5, and he posted the first shutout in anyone. No, he's the only goaltender to have a shutout in the playoffs so far this year. He was spectacular. Then you have Gustafsson on the other side, and Gustafsson is very good. 928 save percentage. None of the fault in the series lies on him. The fault lies on an injury. Joel Eriksson is your perfect playoff player. Like, he's perfect. He's if you came up with your perfect guy in the playoffs, it'd be him. He's like, well, look what Chandler Stevenson is doing. It's the same deal. Like, these guys are very similar hockey players. Stevenson might have a little bit more offensive talent, maybe a tiny bit more, but these guys are so important. And we talked about how strong Dallas was. The 5th overall in the league this year on their power play, 25%, 3rd in penalty killing, 83.5%. But the most important thing in this spot was the fact that they were the number 1 faceoff team in the league this year in the regular season, and they're going up against the 26th in the Minnesota Wild. I mean, that's just capping 101. If the Wild were playing the Seattle Kraken, they wouldn't be hurt by their poor faceoff skills, and they would beat the Kraken. But they're playing against a team where it hurts them very badly. The Stars winning every faceoff are 40.9% on the power play. That's when you need to win a faceoff. It's when you're shorthanded. And the Wild can't do that without their number 1 center for every situation, especially
Joel Eriksson.
Yeah.
Yep.
So it's just too big of a loss. Look at right now in this series. It is the Wild are winning 43.3% of the faceoffs. Now, the Wild have a ton of character, and they're a good hockey team, and they're well coached, and they have a good defense, and they're physical. There's so many things about the Wild that are impressive. You got high-end talent with Kaprizov and Zuccarello, and you have toughness. And Foligno, I was seeing if he could, I was hoping he was available. I'd love him to see him in the Canucks uniform, but that was a very costly major penalty, and it sure swayed the game in Dallas's favor. And if you can't win a faceoff, how are you going to come back? So I told you guys, I compared it to a provincial championships for me. I told you guys all about what Tyler Seguin's doing. When these snipers who've been not very good see that light go on, score a couple goals, well, they remember. And they're, Seguin's doing that. Now we might have Pavelski back. Seguin has 4 power play goals in this series. Robertson, power play goal, Hintz, 3 assists, Ottinger, shutout, and Pavelski could come back. With all that said and done, I was not happy that I put 500 on this series. I did not. I felt like I only did that because I had a bad live bet night, and I would prefer not having 500. Slatsy says, would you bet the Wild here if you weren't looking at a little hedge? And the answer is no, but this is a very simple $100 investment for me. I bet $100 on a Wild on the money line. If they win, I take what I bet and what I made again on the Wild on the money line game 7. And then I have nothing to worry about. And look, I want to have fun and enjoy this stuff, and I don't want to be too caught up and angry and nervous and whatever. So it's a simple $100 bet for me. But it's not an official pick or anything like that. I'm going to let my Stars to win the series ride, and this futures on the Stars. If the Stars can go into Minnesota and win this tonight, I will bet a future on the Dallas Stars in the Western Conference, not in the Cup, in the Western Conference immediately. Take it away for us, Bobano, Stars Wild.
Yeah, I mean, definitely this series is totally swung in Dallas's favor. And I don't know if there's anything Minnesota can do to turn it back. And it's not like the Minnesota Wild haven't been eliminated on home ice before. It's happened a lot, over the last several years and over the last decade, where Minnesota's season has come to an end at home, and so I don't even think that, everyone talks about the Leafs. Minnesota's had their own issues recently getting out of the first round. I mean, not to the Leafs level, but it's not been a pretty first round history in recent seasons for the Minnesota Wild. And I think there's a lot of issues for Minnesota Kaprizov's been quiet, and he's been shut down the last few games. They're not getting a whole. What's Matt Boldy done in this series? Not a thing. Not a thing. And you got to think that maybe he's injured or something, because the lack of impact, the lack of even quality chances that guy's had has been remarkable for someone that was as red hot for a portion down the stretch of the regular season. So, to me, Minnesota's in trouble because Dallas's best players are starting to play like it. Jason Robertson came alive the last game, and he's had a rough series, and now he might finally get going. Sagan's been excellent. Ben's been better the last few games. Rope Hintz is always very dangerous. And even though he didn't score last game, I thought he was noticeable. He was making things happen. I thought that was one of the better games the last couple, too, from the kid, Wyatt Johnston, who's had a great season as a 19-year-old rookie, straight out of the Windsor Spitfires and straight into the NHL with the Dallas Stars. There's just too much going in Dallas. And I already have a Dallas series bet, but I'm going to take it one step further with Dallas tonight. Money line, official play against Minnesota to end it at plus 100 at Pinnacle. I honestly do believe this is going to come to an end tonight here, and the Stars will move on. They're starting to show their superiority, looking like the better of these two teams. Jake Ottinger is in an absolute zone right now, and after a pretty much an even goaltending battle early in the series, there's no doubt he has surpassed Philip Gustafsson. In the last two games, he's been the better goalie, and he just keeps getting better and better. I thought he was spectacular in Game 4 when I don't think Dallas played their best. And then in Game 5, Dallas played a lot better, and he had a shutout, and he was excellent. He was right there, and Minnesota did have a few really good looks, and he shut the door. And he's playing like he did in the first round against Calgary again last year. Right now is Jake Ottinger. So I like Dallas here, plus 100. And, of course, with this being an elimination game, you know what I'm also on here? I'm not actually on the full game over here. I'm not. I'm just going to be on the third period over in this Stars and Wild game. Let me just see what the price is here. We're looking at over 2 plus 122 at Bet Rivers for the third period over.
You got it. Great breakdown. Stars plus 100, third period over 2 at plus 122. We'll just talk about the movement here in a second. But first, a huge shout out to Michael Piccioni. Michael, thank you so much. $50 dono. That means so much to us.
Wow.
The support that you guys have for the show is inspiring, man. Yeah. And, for me, life's not always the way we want it to be. But the knowing that I can come here and cap with you guys, it's like, it just means so much to me. Like, I don't there's going to be tough times and shit we deal with and all that stuff, but we get to come here and cap together. And I'm so, so thankful for it. And thank you, Michael, for that dono, and Sammy for the dono. I mean, these are big donos and harder in cash. And this is a tough road that we've chosen. And, that you share your successes and also when we're wrong and when we are bad, that you stick by us. Because it's not all going to be glory. It just means so much. So thank you. Thank you, Michael. That means a ton to us. Very, very, very thankful, Michael. We have a move towards the Minnesota Wild. They go from minus 106 to minus 111. They got up to minus 116 last night at 10:20 p.m. And then on the total side of things, there has been no movement basically at all. 1 cent move to the over 5.5 at plus money. So, Jorge, don't play looking at the both teams to score in the third period. I wouldn't. The whole thing is not predicated on both teams scoring. Really, it's more predicated on now both teams can score, and that's why it's available. Obviously, when one team's got their goalie pulled, they can score, and if they score, if they're down by more than one goal, the goalie is going to stay pulled, and then the other team can score. But I think it's more predicated on the team that's ahead to score at least 2 goals in the third period. So I don't know if you would need that. And third period over goal is minus 172 at 1.5 in my book. What's the 2.5, Jorge? Don't play, because then you can just build the -1 on your own. And, that's what we do here. We build the -1s on our own. A shout out to Max Swelly. Thank you, Max, so much. You guys, this truly means so much. And I'm just going to grab this for our guy, Jorge, don't play. And anybody who's looking for it, this is a -1 calculator that is so important. Calculator. It's so important. It allows us to, if our book doesn't offer the -1, we don't care because we can build it ourselves. And there's certain books, that offer the -1 at a worse number than what it would be if you built it yourself. So there it is right there, Jorge. So there's the -1 calculator. Very simple, easy to use, and use it for baseball and NHL or totals. I use it all the time for totals, especially when I'm not being offered a 5 and I'm on the under and I want a big plus money under. I cashed that under in the Stars game, last game 5, plus 133 on the under 5. So there you go. Ken Mizrahi says, if you take Seattle tonight or Colorado to win the series, you will be up money. Thoughts, anyone? Yes, let's discuss that right now. 10 p.m. Eastern, West first round, game 6. Now, if I can make it through one more game without making a bet, I will have the situation that I was hoping for, and that's Bruins -1. Bruins team total over. Now I bet a lot more on the Bruins -1, and then I will have the Stars series price. That's what I would like. But this is a juicy hockey game. And so if something comes out of it, I will let that happen. West first round, game 6, Colorado Avalanche, 51-24-7, 29-11-1 on the road at Seattle Kraken, 46-28-8, 20-17-4. Jorge, don't play. It's very just quick walkthrough for it. I don't know if you use decimal. I use American, so that's the first thing I do. I switch the odd type to American. Some people have to win amount. I'm a to risk amount gambler. I risk $200 on my NHL bet, so I switch to that. Then I put in the amount that I want to bet, $200, and then the money line odds minus whatever. The -1.5 is plus whatever it is, and then everything is written out for you. Okay, so back to this spot here, Climate Pledge Arena in Seattle, Washington. I like seeing players step up. It's always fun, and seeing Grubauer step up. We know he won a Mem Cup with Windsor. Then he won a cup with the Caps, and it's exciting to see him step up, especially against his former team. Georgiev has been a little bit disappointing because there's certain times where I think he's the best goalie on the ice, and then I'm like, well, maybe he isn't. I think he's the most talented goaltender on the ice, but he's just not put it together the way you need it. But this is a pretty simple breakdown for me. You have McKinnon in his feelings about not having Gabe back, and we talked about that on the show last time we were together, and then he loses Nichushkin, and he talks about it all the time. He talks about the big loss and all this stuff. Then you have Cale Makar, who is arguably, I would say he's the best player on the Avalanche, suspended for the last game, but that suspension also took out Jared McCann, who's the most important forward on Seattle. And he was the key for Ron Francis when he put this team together. He's been a Corsi darling. Anyone who follows Corsi numbers closely knows that he's one of the highest rated Corsi players, forwards that we have. So now it comes to, you don't have Gabe and you don't have Nichushkin, and now it's McKinnon and Rantanen that need to be stopped. And what happens if they're stopped and there's no Cale Makar? Well, there's no secondary scoring. The Avs power plays at 8.3%. Now, they're still winning 54.2% of the faceoffs. And imagine what a good faceoff team is going to do. Remember, the Avalanche were 26. Seattle was second worst. What's going to happen when Seattle plays a good faceoff team? They're going to lose. But Cartier came in and scored in his NHL debut, 8th player since 1927 to score a goal in his NHL debut in the playoffs. And before Cartier, it was Cale Makar who did that in 2019. Not only that, but Cartier was coached by our very own Birdie in our chat. So Birdie seeing one of his kids score in the playoffs is very exciting. And the fact that we have, a hockey mind of Birdie's caliber in our chat just goes to show what a special show this is. A shout out to Birdie and your buddy the kid that you coach scoring. Look, Geeky looks excellent. The Kraken have scored first in all 5 games. The Avalanche led the league in that in the regular season. Everything is pointing to the Seattle Kraken. We see McKinnon smash the glass when a penalty isn't called for him. Well, what happens? While you're smashing the glass, they come down and score. McKinnon is emoting out there. So what can stop this is Cale Makar. Cale Makar can single-handedly win this game for Colorado. I'm not betting Colorado. I think this is probably Seattle or pass. But Cale Makar is that special, and we've seen what happens when the Avalanche are against the wall, and both of these teams are going to lose in the next round if they get through. Take it away for us, Bobano. Avalanche, Kraken.
Yeah, especially if they play Dallas. That's probably true. You're going to see them get bounced. But yeah, I think when you look at this matchup here with the Avs and the Kraken, it's a really hard side in this one because I know one thing's for sure. I'd take Seattle before Colorado tonight, just like you said. But there's something about Colorado here, backs against the wall, Cale Makar coming back, that I wouldn't completely write them off just yet. And, they were coming on strong in the third period of game 5, and they fell short in the comeback and lost 3-2. Grubauer's been great. Grubauer's playing with the extreme. You're motivated, obviously, already to win because you're in the playoffs and you want to win a Stanley Cup. But you also want to stick it to Colorado. There's no question there's some of that in Philip Grubauer, that decided, hey, we're actually not going to bring you back. We're going to go elsewhere for our goaltending. Bring in Darcy Kemper, and the rest was history. They won the Stanley Cup with Darcy Kemper instead of Philip Grubauer. I don't care who you are. That stinging thought resonates in your brain, okay, when you play this team. And I'm sure it does here for Philip Grubauer. There's no question. So I expect Colorado, though, backs against the wall. This is a defending champion. I don't have the record off the top of my head when facing elimination, how good Colorado's been the last few years, but not quite Tampa Bay level, but pretty damn good still. So I remember, this is some pressure now in Seattle, right? This is going home in front of your home fans, second year in the league, and a chance to clinch your first ever Stanley Cup playoff series victory as a franchise on home ice. That's a lot of pressure on this Seattle team. Let's see how they handle it. Let's see how they respond. This is a great game to watch. It's going to be a live betting game for me from a side perspective. I would absolutely only look at Seattle at the current price, but I want to see how this team comes out first. And quite honestly, with Makar back, and I want to see how Colorado comes out. Now, Big Val Nichushkin won't be back, and his little issues off the ice seem to be more serious than we thought. Some intoxicated woman in a hotel room is what we're reading with that. So, is that shaking up the team a little bit? And look, this guy, the Avalanche without Nichushkin, the record declined significantly this year. Their win-loss record as a team without Nichushkin. So that is still a big loss, even though they are getting Makar back. They're still going to miss Big Val Nichushkin because it's been the Nate and Mikko show. Nobody else is stepping up really consistently. They've got nothing from the third and the fourth line in this series. Look at what you're getting from Seattle. You got Yanni Gourde scoring some goals for you. Morgan Geekie has been scoring multiple goals for you in this year. Seattle's getting the scoring from their depth forwards, from their bottom six, not Colorado. That is very concerning for me going into tonight's game. So it's a pass for me from a side perspective. Totals wise, in this one, I'm seeing the total right now, 6, 5.5s with juice. I am going to go with a split on the total here. Over 5.5, minus 125 at Proline Plus. I'm going to lock that in. And of course, as I've done with every game tonight, because all 4 games are elimination games, we're also going to go back to the third period over trend. Over 2, minus 108, third period at Bet Rivers.
There you go. Great breakdown. Slatsy on the Schwartz over 2.5 shots at minus 118. Ken Mizrahi with an interesting way of doing it. And
I'll add that prop too, because I bet it the last game.
Sure.
There's other props. I like McKinnon shots on goal a lot, but it's minus 160. I'm not going to use that as an official play with the juice that high on over 4.5 shots on goal. But that's why I like the Schwartz prop. He's undervalued right now, and you can actually lay a decent price compared to some other players with their shot on goal over. And he has been trending heavily toward going over his shots on goal prop in recent games for the Blues. You go back to game, I'm just looking at it right now, game 2. Game 1 of this series. No, game 2. Game 2 of this series, 3 shots on goal in game 2, 4 in game 3. He had 11, if you could believe it, 11 shots on goal for the Seattle Kraken in game 4. And then in the last game in Denver in Colorado, Schwartz had, let me just see, I think he went over, 4. So he's had 3, 4, 11, and 4 in the last 4 games, all of them over 2.5. So, yeah, I'm locking that in as well. He's undervalued. Again, the price isn't bad. It's over 2.5 shots on goal, minus 118 at Bet Rivers.
You got it locked in. Here, Ken Mizrahi says 1,000 on Seattle tonight, 1,000 on the Avs to win the series equals 350 profit as long as Seattle doesn't win in Game 7 in Colorado. I wouldn't do that. the the interesting thing about gambling is that sports gambling is that the worst case scenario happens all the time.
Yep.
It happens all the time. And so I don't think I would, I don't think the risk reward is worth it there, Ken. Maybe it works beautifully, but that makes me uncomfortable here, but let me know if you do it because I will cheer it on heavy. That is our NHL breakdown for today. Great to have Bobano back in action. He's been very good this year. You see 60, 61, 49.6% plus 3.07 units, ROI 2.54%. But I ride with the cappers on our show. I ride with them all year. And by, putting their action in the spreadsheets, I'm, riding with them. And Bobano got off to a really tough start. And watching him climb out of it is something that I just love. I love it. It shows character, and it shows that you understand this is a process, and that this is a marathon, not a sprint, and all that stuff. So I've been very impressed with you pulling that into the black, and you've been now in the black for 6 weeks or so, 2 months or so. But excellent work.
Let's review action the test tonight. But I do like where I'm going with this card. So.
Well,
I had a terrible night last night. If I have a night like last night, I won't be in the plus after tonight. So let's hope for a good night.
Yeah, absolutely. And when you guys are watching me cap, you see mistakes I make all the time. You see things that I do right. So game one, we started the playoffs, and I was down 16 units on the year. And I was like, you guys saw me go 17-2 in the playoffs to start off last year. I'm not going to bet games one. I'm not going to bet game one. I'm not going to bet games one. And then we start talking about the games. I'm like, oh, God, that looks good. That looks good. That looks good. I think I should do it. And then Sharpie says, don't do it. Don't do it. Do what works for you. And I still made bets in game one and lost money. Now, I'm 8-2 this week. I'm running real nice in the NHL. I told myself, don't add anything. The Bruins -1, the Bruins team total over, the Stars to win the series. You're in great fucking shape. Don't fuck it up just because you got a fucking itch. No, I'm winning right now, and I'm able to say, no, we got to keep this shit clean, keep it tight. Because when you're winning, you make smarter decisions. And when you're losing, you reach and you risk and you fuck everything up. So I did it. And Sharpie was in my head. Sharpie even took the time. See, when you guys take the time to send a message saying something like, don't do that. You just said it out loud and do what's working. And I'm like, oh, no, fucking, I got to get my fucking action. Oh, fuck, it's ridiculous. So I did it. I accomplished what I wanted to do. I'm adding nothing. I'm going to win again tonight. Carolina, New York Islanders, Bobano's on the third period over 2 at +128 and the over 5 at -130. I'm on the Bruins -1 at -108. I bought it 2 days ago. The line hasn't changed much. Bobano's got it at -112. I'm on the Bruins team total over 3.5. That's actually moved against me. That was -101 2 hours ago. Now it's -104. Bobano has Pasternak over 4.5 shots. Pasternak goal. Marchand goal. Bruins -1. Bruins team total over 3.5 -104. Over 6 at -120. Third period over 2 at -122. Bobano has the Stars at +100. The third period over 2 at +122. Then Bobano's on the over 5.5 -125. Third period over in Seattle, Colorado -108. Schwartz over 2.5 shots. And there's another important thing that you saw right there. We discussed Slatsy's spot on Schwartz over 2.5 shots. Bobano had cashed on it yesterday, so he wants to go back to the well. And that's us listening and working together as a team. There you go. That is NHL, and it's great to have Bobano back in action. Let's move on to Major League Baseball. We are 14-8 this week, plus 5.39 units. I am now close to another. God, it was tough, man. I told you guys, 6 weeks ago how angry I was, and I was down 16 units in MLB. Now I'm down 3.44 units, so I'm on my way back. Bobano has a much more difficult situation than I have because I can put in my action any day of the week. It's not going to be easy for Bobano to climb out of this hole.
And only 2 weeks, by the way. I'll be on every 2 Fridays, so even harder.
Even harder. But I've seen you do it. 16.8 units is nothing.
It's crazy. I'm having an awesome MLB season, and Fridays are not that day, unfortunately. Yeah.
Well, it's not that. It's your sides and totals have been good. The player prop market has been really tough.
We're scaling back big time on player props today, so that's not That's
because
right.
if it was just sides and totals, I was just too busy, but I almost did those numbers because your sides and totals, I think you're in the black. I almost
Really?
guarantee that you're in the
Holy
black
shit.
with sides.
Well,
and totals.
I'm not surprised. I'm having it's been great sides and totals this season. So yeah.
Let's get to work, Bobano. Great to have you back. We start at 4:10 p.m. Eastern. Kansas City Royals 6-20, 5-8 on the road. The Minnesota Twins 15-11, 8-5 at home. Target Field, Minneapolis, Minnesota. I've made 4 bets on this card. One is not available anymore. I couldn't even give it out on the radio. The market's moved on it, but 4 bets on this card, and there's lots that I like, and there's lots of gambling opportunities. Unlike yesterday. Yesterday was pretty tight. Today's, I think, wide open. Let's start with the weather in Minnesota to get us rolling. And you know what? I'll refresh it because this has been open for many, many hours. Let's refresh it, get the most recent information. We have light rain throughout the Royals and Twins game. I wonder if RotoWire thinks this is going to go. One of the things that has happened to me too many times is that I haven't done the due diligence on these games, and they've played. And I'm like, oh, of course that was the look. I thought it wasn't going to go. I don't want to say that anymore. I want to do our due diligence. But these first 2 games could both be canceled. That's Kansas City, Minnesota, and Baltimore, Detroit. And it's too bad. They're both fascinating capping situations. But we are going to act as if they're going. 46 Fahrenheit, 8 miles per hour out. It's cold and wet in Kansas City. Yeah, I hear you. Oh, wow. We got Rico. Rico's got a tennis banger, 17 minutes. Wizkova, money line minus 120 or at -2. There we go. Did you say Red Girl's back? Someone say Red Girl's back? Oh, there's Red Girl. Nice. We've missed you, Red Girl. Oh, gee, low bagger in the house. Great to see you, Red Girl. Love it. Okay, let's go into the line history here. We've missed you, Red Girl. I love it. Okay, let's get back to the odds here for this spot. Royals, Twinkies, and Lyles versus Lopez. We have a huge move towards the Minnesota Twins. Wow, 50 cents of movement. Wow. Oh, that was at Bovada. Go to Pinnacle. Pinnacle's close to the same. 44 cents of movement. Opening up at -215, now -259. We go to the totals here. Opens up at 8, and it drops to 7.5. Now that you could say is weather related, and that is not based on them expecting Lyles to pitch well. You could make that comment. Let's go to the cash flow here for this one. Get to the top. Here we go. 85% of tickets, 89% of cash on Lopez and the Twins. So if you got in early, I guess you could feel good about the situation. Total-wise, 62% of tickets, 95% of cash is on the under. Jordan Lyles, 0-4, 4.88 ERA, 1.18 whip. He's a tricky pitcher to cap. He's someone that if he has a great start, I want to fade him. If he's coming off a bad start, I just stay off because my eye test tells me he's not very good, but I've lost money when he's had a bad start and I've been very confident and he throws a nice start. So I'm pretty hesitant to have anything to do with him. He's coming off a 4-3 loss at the Angels. He went 6 innings, 4 hits, 4 runs, 3 homers, 5 Ks, 1 walk. He seems to allow a lot of home runs. You see 7 home runs and 31 1/3, but they're almost always solo types. He kind of, when the bases have runners, he seems to lock in a little bit more than he does otherwise. He's sitting with a 1.18 whip, through 31 1/3. Going up against Pablo Lopez. Lopez coming off an ugly start at home versus the Nats. He signs his big contract, gets off to a great start. Now he looks a little more vulnerable. 39 Ks in 30 innings, though. Only allowed 2 home runs. He's still a hell of a pitcher, but 5 earned runs in a 10-4 loss at home to the Nats, a Nats team that is pretty soft with the sticks. Royals versus righties, just 206, 568. Talk about being soft with the sticks. Twins versus righties, 241, 724. Royals bullpen bad, 5.81 ERA, 1.52 whip. Twins bullpen, 3.81 ERA, 1.12 whip. Bankroll Spence says take Lopez's Ks. Robert Franklin bet the under last night, and Troy Torrance on Twins first half -1 at -105. Take it away for us here, Bobano. First game on the card, Royals Twinkies.
Yeah, I'm on that pop. I said I'm not as much on player props, but this is one I'm on. Over 5.5 strikeouts for Lopez, -154. A little juicy, but I like it. You could go 6.5 at even money instead if you don't like the juice. but I wanted 5.5 at that number. So over 5.5 strikeouts minus 154 at Betway for Pablo Lopez over strikeouts. And as you say, anything goes on this show. It's your action. You decide what you want to make official. I'm doing something I've never done before, believe it or not. This is the MLB first for me. I'm doing a same game because, look, I want to be in on the Twins here. I was on the Twins yesterday. This Kansas City team can't hit a lick right now. They're averaging less than 2 runs per game against righties. They're hitting less than 200 as a team batting average against righties. They cannot hit right now. The Kansas City Royals against righties. They're a horrible baseball team at the moment. Minnesota, I want to get in on them, but obviously anything you look at, -1, -1.5 even, you got to lay a price. Not exactly great value. So I'm doing something different. I'm doing a same game parlay here with the Royals and the Twins, with Twins first 5 money line and Twins full game money line. So again, that's a parlay of Twins first 5 money line and Twins full game money line. It's -125 at Bet365. I like that look. I get it just to win in the first 5, win the game, and we cash a ticket, and I think the Twins have a great chance to do that against this awful Royals team right now. The better starting pitcher. Lyles has given up at least 4 runs in 4 consecutive 5 consecutive starts or 4 consecutive starts. He had a decent first start, but that's about it. 0-5, the Royals in his 5 starts this year for Jordan Lyles. They've lost every start that he's had. So that's the way I'm going to approach it. I think it's a good way to go about it when it's a big favorite like this. So Twins first 5 money line parlayed with Twins full game money line -125.
You got it locked in, Bobano, both looks. For me, with the weather the way it is, I think it decreases the volatility. Obviously, the market feels the same way with it moving from 8 to 7.5. Also, I can understand saying the pitcher had a bad start. He's going to be much better here against Kansas City. And I like those calls, but I don't like those calls on a -250 or 260 a pitcher with the drop in volatility combined. I could understand anybody looking at the first 5 -1. I'm looking at it, but I can't do it. Let's just take a quick closer look at Lopez here. So the last start was ugly. The start before that was great at the Yankees. 6 innings, 7 Ks, 1 walk. It was very good. All 4 starts have been good, except for that last start versus Washington. I mean, you're allowed to have a hiccup, but it just, And there's our guy.
They're starting to heat up too. They had a nice series against New York, except for the last game. Won yesterday, big. Their Twins are starting to hit again, which is nice to see because they weren't for a little bit there.
And Fat Wally joining the chat. Fat Wally gave us the winner in NASCAR. Bush, I believe it was Bush won last week, and it was given here on the show by Fat Wally. Keep up the great work, Wally, my friend. So I'm gonna stay off of it here, but I understand it. And I'm off of it. We're moving on. We have 2 games today where the pitchers have just faced each other, and I don't mean to get this in my head, and you hear me repeat it, but I'm not great in these situations, and it's in my head.
Because what they're doing, Jimmy, is they're putting these same teams, like when they have a series, 2 teams, they'll have a series again 1 week later. They're doing this a lot so far this season. So I hate it too. I'm not a fan of these kind of spots either, but unfortunately we're going to see more of it because they're scheduling things this way. You're going to get Angels A's 1 week, and then 10 days later they're playing each other again in a series. So it's kind of frustrating, actually.
I've just never been good at it. But I don't want to put that limit in front of me, but I'll stop saying it all the time. I think I say it every time it happens. We're in the situation, but this is another spot where we don't know if it will go, but let's do our due diligence. We're Sharpie thinking that there's going to be a doubleheader for Royals Twins tomorrow. But let's move on to Baltimore, Detroit. That's next up for us. 6:40 p.m. Orioles 17-8, 8-4 on the road. Detroit Tigers 9-15, 4-5 at home. I live bet the Orioles yesterday when they were down, and I think they might become the best live betting team in all of Major League Baseball because I don't know if the market understands how good their bullpen is yet and how strong their offense is, and the market will. But watching them now, it got shaky in the bottom of the 9th, but still they got the job done and won 7-4. I don't care what happened yesterday, but I'm just talking about keep an eye on the Orioles for live betting situations, especially against weak teams like the Tigers. Now, I don't think the Tigers bullpen is that bad. I just think the Orioles offense is really good. We have light rain to start the game. We have light rain later in the game. This game could be squashed. 50 Fahrenheit at first pitch goes down to 49. 12.2 miles per hour in, drops to 10.8. Go over to the line history here for this spot. We have Rodriguez versus Rodriguez. One, a very, very, very highly thought of prospect. The other coming off two spectacular starts and owes his team something from what happened last year, leaving the squad there. So the Orioles opened up minus 123. They're now minus 125. 2-cent move towards them. Total wise, this opened up at 7.5, juiced to the over. It's now heavily juiced to the under. We did see sevens. There are some sevens out there. Going over to the cash flow for this one, we have 64% of the tickets and 80% of the cash on the Orioles. That line's not moving. Then you have 37% of tickets, 66% cash on the over. We've seen the line drop. Grayson Rodriguez coming off a nice start. 2-1 extra inning win at home versus these Tigers. It was against Eduardo Rodriguez. Rodriguez was spectacular. Both pitchers didn't allow an earned run. Rodriguez, that's his second straight good start. But the Orioles do hit lefties, 266, 793 OPS. Tigers are righties, 211, 603 OPS. Orioles bullpen, 2.74, 1.13 whip. Tigers bullpen, 4.47 ERA, 1.10 whip. There's real deal prime in the house. That Fenn on Orioles, first five. This is a fascinating one. And, I wish there weren't weather implications. Take it away for us, Bobano, Orioles, Tigers.
This is another one where be careful. We may not see baseball tonight in Detroit, kind of like the last game, Kansas City and Minnesota. You're right, tricky matchup because, again, we just saw this matchup April 23rd. It was a low-scoring game. Baltimore escaped with the 2-1 victory. You got the battle of Rodriguez's here, G-Rod and E-Rod, I guess you could say, here in this one. I definitely have more faith in Baltimore hitting E-Rod than the vice versa. Baltimore does hit lefties pretty solidly. If you look at the numbers, especially the last several games, 5.8 runs per game. I mean, Baltimore is definitely the lean here, and I think the price is cheap, quite honestly, on the Orioles here in this game. But again, you're talking about a short turnaround, same pitching matchup. Grayson Rodriguez, I think, should be able to nullify this Tigers team. The Tigers, especially, and I find in certain spots against lefties, I can trust the Tigers a little bit. They actually have been pretty solid lately against lefties, but put them up there against righties, and you got 209 average, 2.91 runs per game. Last 10 games, 211 average, 1.98 runs per game against righties. It's been really rough for them to hit right-handed pitching. So, like I say, I lean Baltimore. I still might bet it if the game goes off, but I don't know if it will. It might be interrupted by rain, so I'm going to stay away.
Yeah, I'm going to stay off of it as well. Now, this would be a situation if you were betting the Orioles that you want it to be interrupted by rain. Well, that would be that I could understand. I could understand betting the Orioles now with the expectation that it gets interrupted, because you want Eduardo Rodriguez locked in right now. You want Eduardo Rodriguez out, and then you want it to be a bullpen battle, even though I do think the Tigers bullpen's better than the numbers indicate here. So I'm off right now. JT says, "Hey boys, I'm here in the D right now. If you need a weather report close to the game, I'm your guy. Respect, JT. You'll respect." And North Ender saying that same game parlay that you dropped, the first five is 3-way. So you got to be ahead at the first 5 mark for that one.
Okay. Yep.
Thank you for sharing that with us, North Ender. Okay. Yeah, I'm off, but that's the first angle that I found appealing in this spot. And you know what? I might keep an eye on the weather for that, because if we can get into the bullpens, I really like the Orioles bullpen, and I really like the Orioles lineup. And I look through the Tigers lineup and like, who can hurt you? It's hard to find someone that can hurt you. So yeah, I'm going to keep looking at the weather here. And if the game goes off, and I know it's going to last an hour, we saw what happened to Braxton Garrett last night. I was going to cash both. I got lucky to cash the first 5 under 4.5 last night. Sorry, we didn't go over but review the MLB last night, but Marlins first 5 plus a half was a loser. It was 0-0 going to the bottom of the 5th.
I am interested in Baltimore. I do lean that way, but there's a lot of uncertainty with the weather.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I'm comfortable moving on past it. It feels like we just got through the double headers. It's a pain in the ass talking about these weather-related games. But I did catch the first 5 under 4.5, catch the Pirates first 5 plus half, and catch the Orioles -1. All right, let's move on to the next game. So we got those 2 rain-issued games out of the way. Let's move on to a very fascinating game. And look, I really like both these pitchers. I'm fans of both these pitchers. We're talking Chicago Cubs and Miami Marlins, Lone Depot Park, Miami, Florida. But there's some red flags here. Are there enough red flags to switch and flip and take the over is the question. That is the question here. Let's talk about it. Stroman and Luzardo were in Miami, and they've been opening the roof more lately. This seems like a spot where they might open up the roof. I would love maybe if Jose can find that out, or if anybody in the chat can find out the roof, because it is blowing in pretty legitimately. Oh, it's raining here in Miami. Okay, we got it. Red Girl saying raining, so it's roof will be closed. We used to know it was going to be closed. Sharpie says bounce back day for the Stro show, and that's what the market was indicating. Let's go over everything here for the market. First off, there's been a move towards Stroman and the Cubs. There had been a bigger move. There had been quite a big move. Last night when I was looking at it, it was in the throes of the big move. The Cubs had moved to -115 at Pinnacle. They opened up at -102. That came all the way back to the opening line and the Marlins favorite at 11:06 a.m. Right now, there's been a 3-cent move to the Cubs. That's interesting. Total wise, it's opened up at 7.5, juice to the under. It's now juice to the over. This was up to -113 at 11:03 in the morning, and then back to -108. So a 6-cent move to the over there. Let's go over to the cash flow for this one. We have 41% of the tickets and 51% of the cash on the Marlins. So some bigger bets on the Marlins. Then we have 54% tickets, 87% cash on the under. The market moving slightly to the over. Shout out to our guy, Sean Pulliam. Says, shouts out to the hardest working cappers in the biz. Much obliged, gentlemen. Keep up the great work. Thank you so much, Sean. Thank you, man. All you guys supporting the show, it means so much to us, and I mean that. And it also, in Bobano second, it inspires everybody to work harder. That it does that. It does so many things for us. So thank you for your support. And it saturated. Okay, all right, I gotta stay focused. But thank you, Sean. You're a good man, and respect. So Stroman. Now we have so some bigger bets on the under, which was my initial thought. The numbers kind of swayed me off of it, and then we have now, and this is recent bigger bets coming in on the Marlins. Stroman coming off a tough start, 7-3 loss at home versus the Dodgers, 5 innings, 6 hits, 5 earned runs, 3 homers, 5 Ks, 1 walk, but he's been excellent this year. 2.17 ERA, 1.00 WHIP, 30 Ks in 29 innings, allowed just 3 home runs. Sharpie says, when I look through my black book, this will be the toughest test by the numbers Luzardo has had in 2 years. These Cubs numbers versus lefties are legit. Vital says these lines on this game are messy. Sharps don't even want a part of this game. Looks at the Cubs throwing 8 right-handed batters versus the Marlins. Luzardo is not being quite as strong of late, and it's we cashed on unders with him in his first 2 starts, but he's not being quite as strong. Coming off 7-4 loss at the Guardians, 4 1/3, 8 hits, 4 earned runs, 2 homers, 6 Ks, 1 walk, 3.62 ERA, 1.39 WHIP on the season. And Sharpie's right. Look, the Cubs are smashing lefties and righties, but lefties beautifully, 278, 815 OPS. Marlins are hitting righties, 236, 63 OPS. Cubs bullpen is okay, 4.15 ERA, 1.26 WHIP, and Marlins bullpen has had been a little unlucky. I don't really trust them, but their numbers, they should be a little better than they are. Take it away for us here, Bobano. A fascinating pitching matchup between Marcus Stroman and Jesus Luzardo. Floor is yours.
I ain't betting against Stroman in a bounce back spot or the Cubs, but I am a little bit higher than some people on Luzardo, even though, the last start for him was not his best. And that was obvious. 4 runs, 8 hits, 4.1 innings against Cleveland. He is back at home, though, where this year in 3 home starts at Marlins Park, he's given up just a grand total of 4 runs in 3 starts at home this year. And that's over a span of 17 innings. 2.12 ERA in his home starts. 3-0 are the Marlins in Luzardo's 3 home starts. So I'm a little cautious about betting against him because I do think there's a good arm in there. Cubs were smashing lefties for a bit. They've actually had this little cooling off period just in the very short term. Haven't nearly hit lefties as well. And even Blake Snell the other day. They had a little bit of trouble. They didn't do as well against him as I thought they could have or should have. So, yeah, I mean, so I lean Cubs, but I'm staying off it. I respect Luzardo a little bit more than some. And travel day 2 for the Cubs. I definitely lean first 5 under. I think runs might be hard to come by early in the game. So, but I'm not making anything official here.
Yeah, I'm not either. This makes me uncomfortable, and the market makes me even more uncomfortable now. I thought that maybe we would get it would enlighten something, but it's not done that. Shout out Rocco and Nunya and you guys. It just means a ton. Joe Yurkovich says, "Dare I say backwood?" Let's move on. No action for either Bobano or I. 7:05 p.m. Eastern. Now, young Jose Bouquet knows about my affinity for Dick Mountain. I've made a lot of money on Rich Hill, and I saw everybody believing that Rich Hill was done. Was Jamie Moyer ever done? Rich Hill's not done.
You want to talk about games you might be able to just write off, by the way, this one. I really doubt this game gets played. We're looking at almost 80-90% rain in Washington tonight.
Good point. Let's take a look at that situation weather-wise. I did want to talk about Rich Hill so bad because I believe in him, and I always have. And I love those soft tossers, man. So we have drizzle, light rain, drizzle, and rain. This game very unlikely to go as Bobano.
So during the spring and summer, I'm only going to be on every 2 weeks on Fridays, and now I'm on here today, and we're getting an MLB card that's going to be marred by rain in various locations. So great stuff.
Not good.
Just great.
Not good. I know. Not good. Not good. Billy Friedrich says next. Yeah, this one does not look good here, and this one is the most unlikely of all of them to go. But oh man. And Vital said,
hey, I've been riding Pirates overs. This is such an underrated lineup right now. It's ridiculous what we're seeing from Pittsburgh. Yeah, your Brian Reynolds and your Jack Sawinskis of the world, and they're just ripping the baseball right now. I'll tell you right now, I was interested in the over in this game. But again, I don't think it's going to get played.
And the Nats are hitting lefties hard. 294, 760 OPS. Maybe they're hard is the wrong word. Well, they're hitting them well. You would think that the OPS would be over 8 if you had a 294 average. But the Pitt versus righties, 247, 754. So this is a fascinating game. So, but it's not going to go. So Sharpie says you can talk about it for the doubleheader tomorrow. We'll have to see, who's going up against. And I want to see what he does against the Nats. He looked very good against the Reds, and he's had 2 good starts in a row, and people don't believe in him. But then if he's ever a big favorite, you probably want nothing to do with him. He's a tricky pitcher. But let's move past. That is a game that won't go. Let's move to my first bet of the day. And I was hesitant to make this bet. Seattle Mariners at Toronto Blue Jays. Alek Manoah steps up in big situations, and we just saw him do that against the Yankees. 7 innings, 2 hits, 5 Ks, 1 walk. But I am not sure we'll get this number with Castillo again. I really don't. And we have to take advantage of these opportunities. But it's not just that. There's been sharp money on the Mariners, 43% of tickets, 76% of the cash. There was a big market move towards the Mariners. And still I was hesitant to move on it. And then this morning I decided that you have to play Castillo at this number. It comes down to that. I'm on the Mariners first 5. We're at the Rogers Center, Toronto, Ontario. Also, Castillo coming off a poor start against the Cards. Do you want Manoah off being spectacular in the Bronx with all eyes on him? Or do you want Castillo coming off a tough start where he's like, I got to be better. It depends, what you look for. I like the Castillo situation. And I prefer that over the Manoah situation. But Manoah is a heart and soul guy, and he wants to beat the Mariners so badly. But look at the Mariners at 11-14. The Blue Jays will bring the best out of Castillo. So Manoah, Castillo, this also was a spot where, for whatever reason, the bigger bets were coming in on the over, just 18% of the tickets and 50% of the cash. We go over to the line move for the total. We see it an 8-cent move to the over. This at 11:30 a.m. had been a 16 cents move to the over. So, I respect the market a lot, maybe too much. You could say that, but it's helped my baseball capping. The Jays are a much better offensive lineup. 257, 767 OPS. Seattle vs. Righties, 232, 695 OPS. Both bullpens are good and similar. I can't wait to hear your breakdown. This is a very fun game. And there is Rebenga here. And that probably was another reason why I was hesitant, but felt like I must bet the Castillo. Quickly, Sharpie says, I state by knowing how the books make their K-prop lines that has saved me money. The books are begging for the over K-prop on Castillo. Be very careful. Now that makes me very nervous. Every single time Sharpie said that pitcher has gotten destroyed. Every time he said that on our show, that pitcher's gotten destroyed. Take it away for us here, Bobano, Mariners, Blue Jays.
I mean, I love backing Seattle with Castillo. I think I've been backing Castillo in almost every start he's made this year, and it's gone well. I think Mariners have lost all but one of his starts so far this year. He's been excellent. Remember what he did in the playoffs last year? He completely shut down the Blue Jay lineup in the playoff game. 4-0 Seattle, 6-hit shutout, 7.1 innings. He only had 5 strikeouts though in that game. Keep that in mind. So yeah, if you are going to bet that strikeout prop, then it's not a for sure with Castillo going over that strikeout prop here tonight. You're right. Manoah, a gem at Yankee Stadium. He owns the Yankees, especially in that ballpark. I mean, it's unbelievable how well he's pitched at Yankee Stadium historically, but he was on the losing end. This was actually the very same starting pitching matchup as we saw in the playoffs last year, that October 7th game. I believe I was there, if I'm not. I think that's the game I was there.
Yeah. I believe you were, yeah.
Manoah and Castillo, yeah. And Manoah didn't pitch terribly, had a rough start, but settled down after that. But again, no run support, and he was on the losing end of that. But you're right. Jays are coming into this series knowing, hey, this team ended our season last year, beat us in the AL wildcard series. We have a point to prove here coming into this series. And they're playing great right now, the Jays. Let's not take anything away from them. They're playing some really good baseball here this recent stretch, and it's been a nice run that they've put together to get themselves right into the thick of the AL East race. I know Tampa Bay's running away with it, but this little streak Toronto's on at least puts them in striking distance still at Tampa Bay. If Tampa Bay happens to falter, it's not. And Tampa Bay is going to go through a losing streak and a rough patch. It's going to happen. You're not going to play 20-3 clip baseball, for 162 games. You're going to have some losses coming up, but the Jays are playing well. Like I said, 6-2 in their last 8 games. They're winning series. They're stringing series wins together. They beat Tampa at home. The only series loss was 2-3 at Houston. They took 2-3 at New York. They swept the White Sox. So that's what they're doing. They're winning series. I think they're up for this game. This is a great game to watch. I have zero opinion on it from a betting standpoint. Zero lean even.
Yeah, I would have been comfortable staying off of it as well if the market didn't push me in the direction. So Joe Yervix says actually 8.5 seems high. It looks like an under. That was my first thought. But then when I see pitchers like Strosho and Jesus Luzardo, or Castillo and Manoah, who are better than those two, I think of them pitching spectacularly well. That's where my head goes. I don't think of them getting lit up. So I don't care that it seems high because the market's still pushing it to the over. If the market's doing that, so I'm going to stay off of it. Piker says, is there any reason to suspect there's anything wrong with Manoah this year? Not after that performance at the Yankees. Nothing to fear. Billy Friedrich says he'd bet the first 5 under. We'll see. And Angel Valentine looking at the no score in the first inning. All right, we move on to my double up spot. 7:10 p.m. Eastern. Atlanta Braves 17-9, 10-2 on the road at the New York Mets, 15-11, 5-4 at home at Citi Field in Queens, New York. I doubled up on this spot, and this is sort of a little bit more of a complicated cap than others, and I'll break it down for why I doubled up. One of the things is if everything doesn't completely correlate, I would like to know why that is. And if I know why, then I will still bet it. If I don't know why, then I'll just, let it go. And I could explain everything with the market in this one. And that's why I decided to move on the double up. Let's talk about the weather here first. There is some drizzle, which is a problem. It's cold and it's wet. But there shouldn't be rain at first pitch, but there could be. Let's go to RotoWire 2 and see if they think that this game will be in trouble. They do. They think this game is going to be in trouble. We saw what it's like when it's cold and wet for some of these teams on the East Coast. I mean, it's just they don't want to be out there and the scoring drops. I'm on the first 5 under 4 at -105 and the Braves first 5 at -135. At the time, Bet365 was actually giving me the best line on the Braves first 5. That changed pretty quick. That changed. I guess I got in around 8 or 9 o'clock last night. I believe it was -145 when I checked this morning. So it had moved 10 cents in that direction. So let's look at the line history here for this one. And again, this game is another one that may or may not go, but I wanted to move on it. It was important for me to move on it. The Braves opened up at -123. They got up to -138. As I said, I got the first 5 -135. It got down to -125, 45, 50 minutes ago. It's back at -133. So it's back at the 10-cent move, but it came back to no move. From a total standpoint, this opened up at 8 and it dropped to 7.5. So do we consider the move weather-related? Probably. But the fact that the Braves aren't getting a ton, or the market's not moving that far in the Braves' direction, tells me that Peterson's going to pitch nice here. Let's take a look at the cash flow for this one. We have, here we go. We have 18% of the tickets and 40% of the cash on the New York Mets. So there's another indication that the models have Peterson pitching well. Then you have 61% of the tickets, 95% of the cash on the under. And maybe, again, we're talking about the weather being an issue. And 77% chance of rain 4 hours for Sharpie. We'll see. We'll see. But this was one that I had to do due diligence on. Max Fried's coming off, he came back off the IL and he looked awesome. 2 straight starts that looked very, very strong. Now, yes, the Mets have a rich history with Max Fried. They know that they can get to him. They've got to him before, but Fried is pitching very, very well right now, and I expect that to continue. He's in mid-season form with a fresh arm, and Peterson coming off a couple bad performances. We know the Braves smash lefties, so why on earth would the market, the big bets be coming in on Peterson and the Mets? It must indicate that Peterson's going to pitch well here back at home, because I believe he's had only 1 home start. I don't have it in front of me, but I believe he's had 1 home start and 4 road starts. So, the Mets don't hit lefties. They just don't. So any chance you want to fade the Mets that are a public team, you do it against a lefty. They're 233, 715 OPS. Both bullpens have been good, but we've heard in the chat that the Braves bullpen has struggled lately, and their numbers have dropped. So there you go. I'm on the Braves first 5 money line. I would have loved to have taken a -0.5, but I believe there's low volatility in this game, and I'm on the first 5 under 4 -105. Take it away for us, Bobano, Braves Mets.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense to me. That one as well, with the Braves first 5 in this matchup against the Mets. Again, another game where there could be potential for. It's not as bad as some of the other games. It's not as bad as Washington, for example, or some of the other venues as far as potential interruption due to rain. But I'm seeing here -0.5 at. Let me just see here for the first 5 innings. Let me just double check. That's definitely what I'm eyeing right now as well in this game here with Braves and Mets here. Yeah, I'm going to go the -0.5 route. Yeah, at +105 +105 at Bet Victor is still available. So we'll lock that in. -0.5 +105 at Bet Victor with Braves first 5. Obviously Fried's been excellent. There's no question. I mean, his numbers are awesome. They're off the chart. Again, we could have some rain here. That's the one concern. Peterson, 7.36 ERA. The last 2 starts have been brutal on him. He's given up 13 runs, 14 hits in the last 11 innings against the Giants and the Dodgers. Just got destroyed, just got trashed in both of those games. Oh, and by the way, who's not bad at hitting left-handed pitching? Atlanta Braves. So it should be a pretty good matchup here for Atlanta against this Mets lefty. And on the flip side, like I say, Fried in good form. Again, there could be some interruptions with weather here, but I'm going ahead with it still. Braves -0.5, +105 first 5 innings.
You got it. You got it. Sharpie says, why is Max not -175 for a team who can't hit lefties?
This is definitely a good first 5 only look, too. That game had a long delay with Miami, Atlanta yesterday. No day off. They had to go to the bullpen after the delay. A lot of innings taxed. A lot of innings pitched by the relief corps for the Braves yesterday. So this is definitely one of those games to really veer to the first 5 and only if you like Atlanta.
Yeah, but I can understand Sharpie thinking this is a fishy line. I just, it's also telling me that the first 5 under 4 is beautiful. That's what it's telling me as well. First 5 under 4. So, but you're right, Sharpie. It's fishy, and I hope this game goes. But I'm on Braves first 5 and Atlanta, New York first 5 under 4 at -105. Let's move on. We move on. Next up for us here, 7:10 p.m. Eastern. Cleveland Guardians 12-13, 8-5 on the road at the Boston Red Sox, 13-13, 7-6 at home. We're at Fenway Park in Boston. Talking about the Boston Red Sox, let's bring in the star of Say Hey Plays of the day, young Jose Sweet Tea Tits, 1 whole 3 fingers bouquet to the show. The Red Sox with Pivetta on the hill going up against Bieber, who's looked a little vulnerable of late. Jose, how are you?
I'm doing all right. Can't complain. Obviously, everyone loves the term vigorous tugging. It's caught fire. Apparently, it's popular. But yeah, a lot of that, obviously. But not much. Jimmy, how are you?
I'm locked in, baby. I'm locked in. I'm making money. It feels goddamn good.
Yeah, that's why I'm on the Bruins tonight. I can sense it. I can feel it off of you.
Guardians, Red Sox, Bieber versus Pivetta. We'll start with the weather here in Boston. 49 Fahrenheit, 7.6 miles per hour right to left and slightly in. Goes down to 6.1 by the end of the game. Let's move over to the line history here for Bieber Pivetta. We have a slight, I guess it's a pretty legit move. This opened up at -131, and it's now at -124. So we have a legit move. Also, this got up to -142. So it's been a big move. It was actually, this got down to -119. So the initial move was harsh towards Boston. Then there was some buyback, and now it's back with Boston. So a move towards Boston. Let's take a look at the total here. This opened up at 9, -110 to the under. Now it's 8.5 at plus money. So move towards the under. Let's take a look at the cash flow here for this spot. Get up. Here we go. Red Sox, Guardians. We have 53% of the tickets, 51% of the cash on the Red Sox. So no real help there. 43% of the tickets and 83% of cash on the under. It's a lot on the under. Bieber coming off a poor start at home versus the meek hitting Marlins. 5 2/3, 4 hits, 3 earned runs, 1 homer, 4 Ks. But he's a good pitcher, and even when his velocity's down, he's a quality pitcher. Pivetta coming off a good start at the Brewers, 5 2/3, 7 hits, 3 earned runs, 1 homer, 7 Ks, 1 walk. If you can get Pivetta away, that helps. If you can get Pivetta away from the American League East, that helps. Now we're back home where he hasn't been very good, but at least it's against the Guardians, who aren't hitting righties. 231, 659 OPS. Red Sox versus righties, 253, 766 OPS. Guardians bullpen, 3.18 ERA, 1.08 WHIP. Jose Bouquet, Guardians, and your Red Sox. Take it away.
Can I request that Ian goes first? I'd like to hear Ian's thoughts on this game.
Absolutely. Take it away, Ian.
Yeah, I like the over in this game, honestly. If I were to bet something, that would be it. I mean, I really don't love either pitcher. I'm definitely not the Shane Bieber fan that some are. I've actually been looking for spots to fade him at times this year, and even last year I did at times, and it was successful. I don't think his stuff is popping nearly as much as it did. And of course, as we know, in his last start, the last couple starts, the last start against Miami in particular, like 5.2 innings, 4 walks, 3 runs, 4 hits, 5.2 innings. Like I say, he labored through that start. Guardians have lost each of his last 2 starts. And thing too with the Guardians is, during this recent stretch of baseball that they've played, their offense really hasn't been great, other than the 7-run outburst they had against Luzardo, which kind of still surprised they did that. They scored 1 against the Marlins, 2 against the Marlins in those losses, and they faced Garrett and Smeltzer, not exactly Cy Young candidates. They played Colorado. They get shut out by Gomber. How the hell does that happen? 1 run against Feltner, who's been Fade City for many of us. I mean, it's just not been a lineup that's been hitting the baseball lately for Cleveland. So that's what's given me the hesitation, actually, on the over. Is I don't know if I'm going to get enough offense out of Cleveland here, even though I'm not really all that impressed with Pivetta's arsenal right now. So really, I want no part of either pitcher. I'd lean over, but I don't. This Guardians, I've been burned. I was burned in that Feltner game by Guardians over. So, and Feltner's as bad and bottom barrel as it gets from a starting pitching standpoint. So I'm a little hesitant all around in this game, lean over.
Yeah. I mean, I would lean over looking at the X's and O's, but the market here would have me betting the first 5 under, as soon as possible. I wonder if this is predicated with the cold weather and the wind, sideways and in. What do you think?
It definitely is under weather. And, Cleveland's made some real bad pitchers look good lately. And they might do the same with now Nick Pivetta's not always bad, but he's not great. And they could make him look good tonight.
Browns Hughes says Bieber shelled against the Nats. Marlins got to him, velocity down. Give me Boston full game plus 113. He says he knows his team. Boston will control the game from the first inning on. What do you think, Jose?
Interesting. I really didn't have any play on here, but I knew obviously you'd be bringing me on to talk about the Red Sox. And funny enough, the thing I wrote was first 5 under. I wrote first 5 under this game. Both these pitchers have pitched against these teams, and Nick Pivetta has pitched really well. Shockingly enough, let's talk 5 2/3, 7 hits, 1 earned run, and 7 innings, 9 hits, 2 earned runs last year. Obviously, like you mentioned, the weather is favorable towards an under here. Bieber has figured it out. I mean, last year I was more concerned about his velocity and everything, and by now, I mean, he's kind of used to it at this point, I guess. It's just never been. Like, he had that 1 or 2 years where he's a hard throw, and now he's just not been the same guy, but he's still putting up numbers in a respectable ace. So, if anything on this game, I'm playing the first 5 under here, Jimmy. But like you mentioned, the market leaning towards that way definitely has me leaning that way as well, especially because last night, like you mentioned, it was a 9. Now it's an 8.5 on Bovado. You can still get a first 5 under 4.5. Lucky enough. And the big move towards the Red Sox is interesting as well. So I would definitely lean Red Sox for the side, but at this point you probably missed it. So first 5 under, I guess I'll make official with the help of the market, I suppose.
It's a 5 for me if I moved on it right now. I think that's the right bet. In fact, you breaking down that the numbers against Pivetta come from before last year, the big numbers against Pivetta. I mean, that helps me. And then look, there's some big numbers against Bieber, but if you want to see big numbers, you want to see it with, Tapia and Refsnyder. I mean, if he can control Devers, then, you can have a chance here. So, I think I'm going to join you. Let's line shop right now. And again, with Pivetta, I think I trust this Red Sox brass that he is a good enough pitcher to give him the opportunity again this year after the East eating him up. And so with all that combined, I think I'm joining you here. That's a big number, that 5. I mean, there are going to be 6 runs in the cold and, dreary night, maybe. I can get you an under. Wow, this is all over the place. Heritage has the under 5 at minus 110.
All right, sweet.
See if that's going to be beaten anywhere.
Yeah, and the Red Sox are just extremely average right now. Just extremely. Everything they do is average. They're going to be a 500 baseball club.
Well, both teams in that category. The only difference is we expected a lot more out of Cleveland.
Yeah, and Cleveland, like you mentioned, not hitting righties. They're 84th and 85 and 84 weighted runs created plus. Full season last 3 3 weeks, and the Red Sox 107 full season and 101 last 2.5 weeks. So I mean, it's just average hitting, and obviously I think Bieber is good enough to get the Red Sox down, and Nick Pivetta good enough, it seems. The record shows in the Guardians offense, which was once on fire at one point, now just not clicking as hard. So it feels like an under, apparently.
You got problems when you got 1 run combined against Gomber and Feltner in that Colorado series. That's an issue.
The bullpens are good enough too that I mean, if I take the first 5 under 5, I got to also take the full game under 9.
Oh, well, you have 9s. I have 8.5, so that's interesting. Yeah, I mean, I would lean under as well, just on the top of the weather, but it's I like first 5 just because I want to isolate, I guess, Nick Pivetta, but that's always scary. And I believe in the bullpen. I've been touting that I think this bullpen's very good this year. Kelly Jansen, if he stays on the team this whole year, it would be phenomenal because he's been arguably one of the better closers in baseball this year. So,
I'm just going to take a quick look at the line movement at Pinnacle here on the first 5. Quickly, this will just take 1 second, and we'll move on. That first 5 opened at 4.5. Opened up 4.5 minus 110 to the over. The under was getting bet at 4.5, and then something happened. Moved to 5 minus 119 to the under. Now minus 117 to the under. I guess so here we have the first 5. The line's gone up. The full game, it's gone down. And if I'm going to trust this process that I've been using, for the last couple of years, then I should only bet the full game under. Trust the cool weather and the great bullpens. Obviously, I want that first 5 to cash to get the full game, but I'm going to trust both here. So I'm going to take the full game under 9. And then the question is, do we add the Red Sox? That's the only question left. Mike M says, kind of feels like a Red Sox spot here. The city has to get wins. The feels like the Red Sox spot, doesn't it? The line's moving towards them. Let's just take one last look at the money line. Money line's just 53%. I think it's 51% of the cash. Maybe it is just Bieber's name. It's tough to trust a Pivetta. So let's just close it with this. Jose, who has the better pitcher on the mound?
Oh, it's Bieber, yeah. I mean, Nick Pivetta might go to the bullpen. He's been pitching great, but he still might go to the bullpen for the Red Sox, and he's been pissing about that in the offseason as well.
So, Cleveland still has the better bullpen, and Cleveland has the better bullpen. So the reason why the move is towards the Red Sox is because they just see value at this big plus price. If this was a pick'em, obviously the market would be moving towards Bieber and the Guardians. But at plus money, if you bet that 100 times, then you'd be in a profitable spot. So with all that being said, I'm only on the full game under 9. This is my first addition to my card.
I'll join you on the full game under as well. So I have both.
Okay, let's line shop for your full game
you're under. Getting 9 now.
Here, full game under, and you're gonna get a 9, a minus 115. Looks like the best we can get. I'm gonna check one more row of books.
Sounds good.
And it is under 9 minus 115.
Cool. Sounds great.
Okay, you are in double up here for you. I will be cheering that on as my action will be correlated. Okay, we roll on, and Jose sticks with us because we have the Say Hey play of the day next. Another situation where 2 pitchers have just faced each other. We saw what happened with the high score yesterday. Tampa Bay Rays 21-5, 7-3 on the road. Oh, Piker says, where is that? Sure, Piker. We have these are now all 8.5s. Oh no, looking wrong game. It's minus 116 at Sports Interaction, and it's minus 1 115 at 5 dimes, minus 118 at Heritage, minus 116 at Bookmaker and Bet Chris. Okay, Tampa Bay Rays, Chicago White Sox, guaranteed rate field, Chicago, Illinois. Zach Eflin going up against Lucas Giolito. Let's take a look at the weather first, and then we'll move on. Weather for this one. Sorry about that. Here we go. 59 Fahrenheit, 9.2 miles per hour in. It's sort of right to left, but then it becomes in, and it dies down a little bit. So it's another chilly night. Another ballpark here. Let's take a look at the line history for this one. Eflin versus Giolito. We have a big move towards the Rays. 17 cents of movement towards the Rays, which is interesting because last night there had been no movement, and I couldn't understand it. Total wise is a pick'em at 8.5, and it stays at a pick'em at 8.5. Let's take a look at the cash flow for this one. We have 87% of the tickets and 79% of cash on the Rays. That was a situation last night, so I was confused as to why the market wasn't moving. You have 76% of tickets, 77% cash on the over, and the market's not moving there either. Piker says Eflin is a road ahead case. This is his first road game all year. And Billy Friedrich saying that his rage for the White Sox equals my rage for the Canucks. I hate that you have to go through that. I don't wish that on anybody. Mike M says home dogs coming off a loss playing in later than game 1 of a series are 2-21 straight up, 48.2% ROI fade, and 4-19, 63.2% ROI fade. Guaranteed rate field, Chicago, Illinois. Zach Eflin coming off. These guys just faced each other. It was a 4-1 win in Tampa for the Rays. Eflin went 5 innings, 3 hits, 1 earned run, 4 Ks, no walks. Giolito, 7 innings, 5 hits, 4 earned runs, 2 homers, 5 Ks, 2 walks. Rays versus righties, 273, 858. White Sox just 235, 659. Rays bullpen 2.64 ERA, 1.06 whip. White Sox bullpen 6.06 ERA, 1.71 a whip. This was a situation where I couldn't understand. The sharp money early was on the White Sox, and the market wasn't moving towards the Rays. Now, the public's come in and bet the Rays, and I get it. But if this had to be in the situation last night, I would already have a bet on the Rays. So I'm very interested to hear your guys' thoughts. And we'll start with the Say Hey Play of the Day. Rays, White Sox, take it away.
Yeah, I bet this last night. I was on the Rays. I took a -1 last night. I tweeted it out. I'll double check at the line real quick here. But the White Sox are just horrific. The White Sox are just been one of the worst teams in baseball. Hitting wise, 25th against righties, 83 weighted runs created plus. Last 3 weeks, 29th, 60 weighted runs created plus. I was on them last night. It was an easy casher. Shout out to McClanahan. Didn't pitch it as good, but didn't matter because Cease got crushed. I think in the back-to-back spot here, Lucas Giolito gets crushed. Gave up 4 earned runs last time, but pitched 7 innings, so that's a good start for them. So I think he gets touched up here again. Eflin did pitch well last time, and like we mentioned, this is a rematch here, same guys. I expect him to get touched up here as well. But if we're talking in an offensive battle here, give me the White Sox or give me the Rays over the White Sox. One question or one concern is obviously the wind's blowing in this. We cannot forget that we're in Chicago still. So it's like 8-7 mile an hour winds blowing in. So that's a bit of a concern. But I'll just take the Rays, better team here. Full game -1. I'm very excited to watch this game, and I got that at -121 last night.
Locked in -121. Bobano, Rays, White Sox, take it away.
I cashed an over last night. I'm coming right back to it tonight. Rays and White Sox over here for me in this one. I have a little bit more distrust in Eflin because he's going on the road now. And the White Sox, maybe it doesn't matter because the White Sox are pathetic right now at the plate. Pathetic. So maybe he can go in there and pitch well. But I know from his Philadelphia days, Zach Eflin on the road's a different pitcher. And I don't always trust him in that situation, in that spot. He's been in the comfort and cozy confines of Tropicana Field for each of his first 3 starts this season. Now he's going on the road, a little bit more of a hitter-friendly environment here. So let's see how he fares. Maybe it's not going to matter because the White Sox stink, but at the moment, and they really do. But even if the White Sox don't hit much, I think we can still get there with the over because I think the Rays are going to do serious damage. They're crushing righties. Giolito's not been great. He's been hit in a couple of his recent starts. Obviously, we saw 19 runs in the game last night between the Rays and White Sox and what was supposed to be a matchup of aces, McClanahan against Cease. So you're talking about two pitchers that aren't as good here tonight. Total's reasonable here, 8.5. And again, I know some wind blowing in. That doesn't concern me overly that much. So, and I like the price that we get here at Pinnacle, especially. So, Rays White Sox over 8.5 minus 106 at Pinnacle.
You got it. We can give you a better line over at Heritage, though. We'll give you the minus 103. Over 8.5 and minus 103. Billy Friedrich says, checking to see how many fans are there tonight. Not many. At least the fans speak by not showing up to a shit product. Not something they have ever done on the north side. Okay, that's locked in. I'm going to stay off of the spot here. Again, facing each other for the second time. If Eflin didn't have these road question marks, I feel like Giolito's going to pitch decent, and I would be interested in the first 5 under. Piker says 73% of tickets on the over hate that, and that it hasn't moved. But I love Bobano, so it looks like Piker is still going to
love me, so still bet it anyway. Yeah,
move on it. I mean, weather market. If we can trust Eflin, I would certainly be on this under, but I need to have conviction to go up against Bobano. And I mean, look, it just this cashes over and over and over again. When you have the conviction to go up against a capper you respect, your ROI is going to be through the roof. I don't have that here, so I stay off. It's very, very simple. So, Jose, say hey, play of the day, Rays -1 at minus 121. Excellent work, Jose. Who will you be sharing the screen with on the Big Friday show today?
Today's Friday, so Connor Mack joins me. It'll be a fun afternoon of baseball as well. By the way, shout out to Nutflush Allen asking me if I bet the Red Sox win total over. Nutflush, don't be so silly. I bet the Red Sox to make the playoffs at plus 300. So there you go there. But yes, Connor Mack joins me today. It'll be a lot of fun. Also, I am going out to Fiesta tonight, Jimmy. I know you know a little bit about Fiesta in San Antonio tonight for a content thing. We are apparently a podcast, 210 Culture, is going to bring me out, and they're going to try to find me a mate. And so I'm going to be at my most awkward, and it'll be all recorded, hopefully posted on the YouTube, and it'll be a whole lot of interesting, funny content if you like laughing at me. So I can't wait for that as well.
It took all of my strength and willpower not to pull you from the show.
Yeah, I had to mention that it was a promo for something, and you didn't pull it. So I get it. I understand. I get it. But yeah, shout out to them. It'll be a fun night, and I'm glad I survived another show without getting pulled.
All right, 8:05 p.m. Eastern, New York Yankees 15-11, 6-4 on the road at the Texas Rangers, 14-11, 8-5 at home at Globe Life Field in Arlington, Texas. DeGrom going up against Clark Schmidt. Clark Schmidt finally had a decent performance. It was quite surprising that the market was moving towards the Yankees, and it threw me for a loop. I was thinking, God, I got to get on the Rangers first 5 -1/2, don't I? Or maybe I don't. And that's what it finished with. Maybe I don't. Let's take a look. First off, we need to find out what the roof is going to do in Texas. Let's just see if we can get to it's cold and light rain. So definitely roof closed. So that helps that cap. So we don't need to care about the weather. Let's take a look at the line history here for Schmidt versus DeGrom. The Rangers. Oh, and now we have the big move. Wow. So when did the big move? The big move came at 11:21 this morning. So I was waiting. So this line came out, and for 16 hours, more than that, for 20 hours, nothing. No move towards DeGrom. Then at 11:21 p.m., a big move towards DeGrom. And now we have a huge move. Now we have a 34-cent move towards the Rangers. So it happened. Total-wise, it's opened up at 7.5 and it dropped to 7. You could say that's predicated on the roof being closed, or you could say that the market is telling you that Clark Schmidt is going to have a good game. Take a look at the cash flow for this spot. And here we go. We have 38% of the tickets and 64% of the cash on the New York Yankees. Now, the market is moving towards the Rangers, so if you already have Rangers action, you can feel somewhat confident. 28% of tickets and 82% of cash on the under. So they're telling us Schmidt is going to have a good start out here. Coming off that 5-1 loss versus the Jays, he didn't allow an earned run, but he hasn't handled adversity well. When there's ducks on the pond, he tends to panic. DeGrom on the other side, what can you say about DeGrom? 43 Ks and 3 walks and 26 2/3. I mean, yeah, he's got a 3.04 ERA, but that 0.79 whip tells you that that's going to drop quickly. Coming off 5-2 win at home versus the A's, he allowed 1 earned run. They did hit a homer off of 11 Ks, no walks. Yankees aren't hitting righties, 247-17 OPS. Christian Larson saying no Judge for the next few days. Sharpie says, I have the biggest bet of the year in this game. If you can't put 2 and 2 together, tune into the Balking Dead. And I love it. Let's keep them hanging. Save it. Let them become Balking Dead if they want Sharpie's biggest bet of the year.
Tease. That's how you do it. You put the promo teaser out there. Yeah.
Texas hitting righties pretty well. 267-83 OPS. Yankees bullpen is always very good. 2.47 ERA, 1.15 whip. Texas bullpen good this year as well. 3.4 ERA, 1.15 whip. Take it away for us here, Bobano. Yankees, Rangers at Globe Life.
Just one bet, and it's a player prop. And Billy Friedrich's on to what I like in this game. Anthony Rizzo over total bases, minus 130 at Bet365. Over 0.5 total bases, minus 130 at Bet365. So all he needs is a single. A single gets it done. Only one total base required. So Anthony Rizzo over 0.5 total bases, minus 130 for me in this game. And it's very obvious why I like it. He has absolutely destroyed Jake DeGrom in the past. Anthony Rizzo. I mean, he has just been absolutely torching him here in recent games. Let me just I had the numbers in front of me here. I lost the screen, but anyway, it's not good, obviously, for Jake DeGrom against Anthony Rizzo. Here it is right now, 10 for 24, 417 batting average for Anthony Rizzo against Jake DeGrom lifetime. So 10 for 24 and hitting 417 against him. And that's not some small sample size. That's 24 at bats, and he's had 10 hits against him. So there's something to that. All he needs is a single. It's the only thing I like in this game. Texas probably should win. They should be able to get some runs off of Clark Schmidt, who I don't think is all that great, and his road ERA is bloated. So you know what I might do here? Let me just see what the number is on it. Yeah, I'll add it too. Over 4 minus 105 at Caesars. Caesars Sportsbook, Texas Rangers team total over 4 minus 105. I'm going to add that team total because I don't want to worry about the DeGrom versus the Yankees, but I do think that Rangers will hit tonight. So Texas team total over 4 minus 105 and the Rizzo to get a total base minus 130.
Yeah, I like it. And get it. By the way, Justin McElvey says he will donate Pub Sports on Jose's show tomorrow if his stacks play today does not cash. His stacks play today is White Sox team total over 3.5. So back to this spot. It's funny. The market to me is telling me there's going to be, a low scoring game, obviously going from 7 to 6.5. But this opened up at 4. And the initial move was to the first 5. First 5 at 4. The initial move was to the over. I mean, we had a 9-cent move to the over, and then around 10 o'clock it started moving down. So then it goes down to 3.5, and then it keeps hitting the over again. Back up to the over, to the 4, and then 3.5, and then to the 4, and 3.5 to the 4. Right now it's juiced to the under at 3.5, but I guess I'm going to have to stay off of it here. I guess I'm going to have to stay off of it. But I certainly feel like the market is implying that Clark Schmidt is going to be good here.
I like what you're saying, Sharp. It sounds like Sharpie likes over 8.5 strikeouts with DeGrom. It sounds like it. But I'll say this. He's had 9 and 11 and 11, I believe, in his last 3 home starts here at Globe Life Park. I believe, 11, 9, and 11. Oakland, Kansas City, and Baltimore in those games. So he has been racking up the Ks. Joe Yurkovich's look, I can co-sign. I like that. I'm not making it official, but there's another way to go about it to get the juice down. Rangers money line and DeGrom 8+ strikeouts, minus 115.
I wonder if this. Opens up at 7.5, drops to 7, gets back up to 7.5 again. It seems like somebody out there thinks that this is too low of a total, and I imagine that's predicated on, Clark Schmidt out there. And I would like to try to get underneath this with the public on the over, and I would like to try to get underneath this. And Sharpie says I make the lines and it should be 8.5. No funky shit here. We'll be 9.5 next week. There's Rodney Barton in the house. Great to see you, Rodney. Okay, so, all right. JJ would rather talk about UFC. Says let's do that instead of a game of chance. Well, this game of chance is paid beautifully this week. 26 and 16 plus 9.37 units. JJ. So we're going to talk about this game of chance, and we're going to make money off of it. But may God bless your UFC action. All right, let's. God, I'm just staring at this first 5 under 3.5. I would like to move on it. Do you feel like the market is indicating that Clark Schmidt is going to pitch well here, or decent?
Maybe they do. Yeah, I mean, I'm surprised it's been, there hasn't been much in terms of the movement here. I mean, we've seen a little bit. It did open as low as minus 175, minus one. It's up to 215, 220. But I haven't seen. I thought we'd see a little bit more of that because Schmidt's road ERA has been awful, and Tech's been hitting a little bit lately. Someone made a point. Texas's bullpen hasn't been great, and that's exactly why I made the move I made with the team total. Takes the bullpen out of it. I don't want to deal with that Texas bullpen right now either. Look what they did in the Cincinnati series. They had a huge lead in one of those games. They lost the game. So I agree with avoiding the Rangers bullpen. It's not a bad idea.
I'm very, very close to moving on this first 5 under 3.5. I mean, what's clear is that, they're not in the realm of the Rays and the Guardians, but we should trust the Yankees brass when it comes to pitching. Their bullpens have been phenomenal over the last few years, and their starting staff has been strong. And they believe in Clark Schmidt. And he was a first-round pick in 2017. And, he looked good in the majors last year. The number probably shouldn't be, God, I'd love to get a 4, but the number shouldn't be this high. It just shouldn't. We know that Rizzo hits DeGrom, but we should be able to trust that, DeGrom. It won't surprise anybody if DeGrom goes 5 and only allows 1 run. And then, this is when Clark Schmidt should step up and show he belongs. And I'm very close. Very, very, very close. Let's just look what he did in Scranton last year. You know what? The Rangers offense is good. Okay, I'm very close to moving on the first 5 under 3.5. I'm going to need more time, and I'm not going to sit here and hum and haw with you guys, but I'm very close to moving on that first 5 under 3.5. Let's move on to 8:10 p.m. Eastern, and we come to LA Angels at Milwaukee Brewers and the spreadsheet play of the day. Spreadsheet play of the day is in for our Ron Crawford. The spreadsheet play of the day right now, he is 7-6, 53.8% plus 1.17 units. Coming off a loss with the Padres yesterday. And let's take a look at what he has here for us. The spreadsheet play of the day today is Milwaukee Brewers -1 at plus 107. Brewers -1 at plus 107. And shout out to our guy, Ron Crawford. All right. Christopher Commentini, by the way, says, wouldn't be surprised if DeGrom allows no runs. And Sharpie said, Jimmy, if you think Schmidt is going to be good, Rangers team total under. I guess that does make sense on the first 5 team total under, but if he allows 3 runs and DeGrom is spectacular, I can still get paid. But look, it's not easy expecting Schmidt to be good, but I'm gonna write that. You know what? I want to be in play if Schmidt allows 3 runs and DeGrom allows none. So, but I think, but you were absolutely right. That does correlate. Let's go back to this Angels Brewers spot. Tyler Anderson going up against Wade Miley. Let's take a look at the line history. We know this roof will be closed. Line history wise, Anderson versus Miley. We have the Brewers opening up -126. There'd been a move towards them, a big one by 10:35 last night, 20 cents. And then it stopped, completely went away. The market started moving on the Angels. This got down to a 3-cent move to the Angels. Now it's since come back 5 cents to the Brewers, but a real buyback on the Angels here. This total opens up minus 111 to the over. It's now minus 115 to the over. So 4 cents of movement here. Let's take a look at the cash flow for this one. Money line, 43% of the tickets, 72% of the cash on the Angels. So that will completely take me off of any move on the Brewers. And also, I like betting Wade Miley as a dog. I want Wade Miley to be a dog. I want him to be undervalued. I don't want him to be the best pitcher in the situation, especially when Tyler Anderson's being so bad, but we know he's capable of being okay. So total wise, 42% of the tickets, 54% cash on the under, 42 and 54. And we've seen a 4-cent move to the over. So that's a little confusing. Anderson coming off an ugly start at home versus the Royals. Look, he's looked very bad this year. 7.20 ERA, 1.70 whip, 11 strikeouts in 20 innings with 8 walks, 5 home runs. It looks awful. The Royals just put up 6 runs off him. Now just 5 were earned. He got 1 strikeout over 5 and 30. He looks terrible. Miley, on the other hand, is a pitcher I like. I've always liked him. 3-1, 1.96 ERA, 0.96 whip, 17 Ks, just 4 walks, only 2 home runs allowed in 23 innings. He's getting soft contact. The 5 innings for it's 2 runs, 1 over, 3 Ks, 1 walk, and the 5-4 win at home versus the Red Sox. Now, the Angels hit lefties hard, 281, 822 OPS, and the Brewers don't hit lefties at all, 205, 626 OPS. So that evens things out a little. Then both bullpens have been really good. Take it away for us here, Bobano. Angels, Brewers, and American Family Field.
Yeah, this is going to be, for me, 3 bets. Angels first 5 plus 108 at Sports Interaction. Angels plus 120, full game at Pinnacle. And I'm going to go the Angels team total as well in this game. Angels at team total as well. Over 4.5. No, I'll do, let me see. Over 4 minus 134 at Caesars. I'll go for the 4 instead of the 4.5, pay a little juice. I like Angels first 5 here. I almost want to take over 9 as well. But the one thing that, because Anderson's been horrible. He had the one really good start against the, Oakland early in the season. And he's given up 17 runs in 14 innings since then. And he doesn't have a good track record in this ballpark either in Milwaukee. 8 ERA lifetime in Milwaukee. So I'm going to go over 9 too, Jimmy. Because I'll feel bad if Milwaukee hits him, and I'm not on that too. So over 9 minus 112 at Bet 99 for that as well. But the reason why I'm trusting Anderson potentially here in a bounce back spot is because the Brewers suck against lefties. They're horrible. They're horrible against left-handed pitching. They're absolutely brutal. This is a continuation of what we saw last year from the Milwaukee Brewers against southpaws. They couldn't hit at much at all last year against lefties, and it's carried over. They're dead last in Major League Baseball, OPS, as a team against lefties. And the Angels, conversely, 4th in Major League Baseball right now against lefties with an 823 team OPS. So that's what I'm relying on here. It's the Angels against lefties. They smash left-handed pitching. I think they can do damage here against Wade Miley, who comes into this game, even though he's got some pretty good numbers. I don't know if that's going to necessarily carry over here to tonight facing this Angels team. The only thing that's concerning about the Angels is they played, on the West Coast yesterday. Today they got to fly Midwest to Milwaukee, no day off. So it is a little concerning, but they mash lefties to the point where I'm still comfortable with them at the plus price. Then I saw the market kind of moving toward the Angels as well, and kind of made me feel better about looking in this direction. So we're going to go Angels first 5, Angels full game, Angels team total, full game over here.
I like it. I mean, it's clear to me that that's the sharp side. In saying that, I still hesitate. It'd be Angels or no bet, but I think I have enough action that I don't need to.
So Anderson's just awful lately, but Brewers are equally as awful, if not worse, against lefties. So we'll see what wins out tonight.
Yeah, no, that's all legitimate, and could easily be validated by a quality start from Anderson. The concern though is against lefties here. Let's just move over here quickly. The concern is
I knew I recently faded the Brewers against a lefty, and it was
Oh.
a lefty on a very bad team.
Hmm.
And I'm trying Detroit. That's the one I was on. April 24th. Matt Boyd. I took Tigers first 5 full game, and I think I had a little Tigers team total in that game against it because it's the Brewers against a lefty, and it's not like Matt Boyd's phenomenal, and they didn't do much against him.
I'm wrong. I was about to say, but look at what the Royals do against lefties, but they're actually hitting them decent. 237, 710 OPS. Sharpie says you got 2 guys named Trout and Ohtani who aren't the biggest problems versus left-handed pitchers on this team. Drury and Renfroe have OPSs over 1,000 last year versus left-handed pitching. Wow. I think you're on a real sharp side here. I can understand the trepidation here. One Ron Crawford spreadsheet saying Milwaukee -1, and then you have the Angels on a no day off on a travel day. Okay, I'm going to need more time. I don't know if I get there, but I'm certainly interested. Okay, let's move on. Joe Yerger says, I'm telling you, lefty-righty split should be figured in, but don't over-cap it. He's been saying that for a while, and that's legit. But it's on the first 5 spot. It's pretty important to me, but I feel you. All right, let's move on. 8:10 p.m. Eastern. Philadelphia Phillies 13-13, 5-8 on the road. The Houston Astros 14-11, 6-7 at home. Minute Maid Park in Houston, Texas. If the Phillies go out and win this baseball game, I think I will be betting a future on them. I have their under 87.5 wins. In the beginning of the year, I was like, look, this was bang on. This is right. I'm starting to see a quality baseball team, and I'd be curious to what you guys think of this Phillies spot. I certainly am not interested in betting them here, but this bullpen has come together, and at this record of 13-13, I wonder if I'm going to get value here on the Phillies moving forward, as a future bet right now. Vital says, tell me you're on the Phillies. All checkpoints lit for Phillies. We've been so in sync today. I have not fully capped this game yet. I've got everything prepared and ready to do so, but this is one of the games that I kind of let go of last night because, I do radio early morning Friday here in Toronto, and I didn't include this one, although I'm very interested in capping it. Let's get to work on it here. Nola versus Valdez. First off, we'll start with the line history. This one opened up with the Phillies at +137. They're now +133, so there's a 4-cent move towards them. Total-wise, it's opened up at 7.5 as a pick 'em. There's been a 10-cent move to the under, so that's telling me that both pitchers should be, or the market expects both pitchers to be good here. Lou Chase says Phillies are overrated. They struggle to beat scrubs. Astros about to shove a parking cone up their ass and cure their loser denial. Wow. Sharpie says Astros first 7 -0.5 for me in the spot. Nola velocity down 1 mile per hour. Astros soak the infield more than anyone else to slow ground balls, and Valdez throws ground balls. Wow. Okay, let's take a look at the cash flow for this one. What a treat it is to cap with everybody here. This is why we succeed, man. What a great group. Let's get the. Oh no, did I lose the? Shoot, did I lose the Action Network? I might have. Oh no, I didn't. Sorry, it's right here. Okay, let's go into the. Here we go. We have 34% of the tickets and 60% of the cash on the Phillies. Then you have 68% of tickets, 51% of cash on the over. So 32 and 49 on the under. So bigger bets coming in on the under, and bigger bets coming in on the Phillies. Aaron Nola, 5.40 ERA, 1.34 WHIP. Just won at home versus a light hitting Rockies squad. 7 innings, 4 hits, 3 runs, 1 homer, 3 Ks, 3 walks. Not very good. Framber Valdez coming off a win at the Braves, going 7 strong, allowing 3 earned runs with 9 Ks, no walks against a team that's raking lefties. 2.25 ERA, 1.16 WHIP here. Phillies hit lefties hard, 270, 755, and Houston hits righties hard, 254, 711 OPS. And Phillies bullpen has been very good of late. Now, 4.70 ERA, 1.46 WHIP, but don't get too caught up on what their year-long stats are. Houston bullpen, as always, very good. And Sharpie says, pay attention to how dark the dirt is on the Astros infield. Dark brown. Piker said Nola walking too many to back here. Mike M looking at the Nerfy opportunity here. Take it away for us, Bobano. I'm all ears. I might get involved in this one. Astros at home to the Phillies.
Well, if you look at certainly the Astros, we know they usually typically hit lefties, but they're actually doing damage against righties at a pretty nice clip right now. Nola's struggled on the road, 5.74 ERA in his 3 road starts. They're 1-2. So it's not been great for him away from home. That's kind of like the carryover of what his career's been like. Valdez, 2.25 ERA, 1.5 at home, but 0-3, believe it or not, for the Astros in his 3 home starts, which is kind of hard to believe because he hasn't really pitched that bad in these home starts yet. Not have anything to show for it here. 3-2 loss to the White Sox, even though he shut him out in 5 innings. 6-3 loss to the Tigers, even though he only gave up 2 earned runs in 7 innings of that game. And then, of course, 1 earned run. It was an error that proved costly against Texas, and they lost 9-1 at home with Valdez on the mound. So kind of bad luck, and he's probably pitched better, Valdez, than the win-loss record at home indicates. So feels like a Astros lean for me, but I didn't get involved in it.
Yeah, I would love to have gone in on this first 5 under. Is Nola that questionable? That's the question. How vulnerable do you think? I mean, the market's telling us that Nola's going to pitch well here, but velocity down. What are your thoughts on him as we move forward, Bobano?
Kind of like they've always been. I'd rather have him in Philly than on the road. You're right about the velocity tick down. It's concerning. You look at the spot, too, for Philadelphia. They had to play, day baseball yesterday as well against the Seattle Mariners, ending that series. So they're now going to Houston here with no day off. Houston does have a day off to come home from Tampa in that 6-game road trip they had. So situationally, it's probably better for Houston. Yeah, it's just the only thing that's keeping me off Houston's the price. Not exactly something I'm rushing to get involved with.
Yeah, I want to get involved in the under here. I have to take the 3.5, unfortunately, first half. Full game, the 7.5 is available. Okay, I want unders in this. I would prefer not to double up, and I trust these bullpens, especially Philly's bullpen of late.
And this is Ravenga too, by the way. Not that again, you don't want to handicap that way, but
yeah,
I don't think it matters, quite honestly. And I'm not capping either of these games. Philadelphia, Houston, Seattle, Toronto, based solely on the fact that it's a playoff rematch.
Well, it's a little different in baseball, Yeah. I know they call it a team sport, but we know that it really isn't. Maybe it was 30, 40 years ago, but shit's changed. Yeah, Sharpie says both great bullpens. I'd go full game. And I don't want to double up here in case Nola's susceptible, but I kind of do want to double up because the market's telling me that Nola's going to pitch well here. Maybe this is a double up spot. Okay, I'll make that. I'm certainly going to be on one of these. I might be on both. Let's roll on. We have 3 games left before we get into NBA. And I moved on this one, and I couldn't give it out this morning on the radio because I got the first 5 under 6.5, and it was at 6 this morning. We'll see if it's changed. 8:40 p.m. Eastern. Arizona Diamondbacks 14-12, 6-6 on the road. The Colorado Rockies 8-18, 3-7 at home. Yeah, I feel you, Sharpie. I'm right there with you, man. I'm right there with you. Merle Kelly going up against Kyle Freeland. Merle Kelly coming off a poor start, 5-3 loss at home to the Padres. Again, it's sort of similar. Well, this is multifaceted because, we're at Coors Field, but it's sort of similar to expecting Castillo to pitch better off of the start. I don't mind good pitchers off of a bad start. In fact, I kind of like it. It's kind of helpful if it's just one hiccup, And going up against Kyle Freeland, who also didn't look great in the 4-3 loss at the Phillies. We just talked about the Phillies hitting 277, 55 OPS versus lefties. So here we go. Coors Field in Denver, Colorado. Also, Merle Kelly went to Coors Field last year and pitched an absolute gem. So he is no concern about pitching in Coors Field. Sharpie says Merle Kelly in his career has been asked in Colorado. That's obviously it goes up against what I just said. So obviously I'm going to have to pull this up now. Because I only went as far back as last season. Because if we're going to go into before that, I get a little nervous with, the pandemic time. And then if we don't care about the pandemic because things were all out of whack, then you have to go all the way back to 2019, and that doesn't appeal to me here. So this year obviously hasn't pitched at Coors, and then in 2022, let's move over here. In 2022 at Coors, he's 7 innings, 5 hits, just 1 earned run. So I didn't go beyond that because again, like it's just like, am I really that concerned about what happened in the pandemic? So he got lit up in 2021 at the pandemic, but I feel like those demons were exercised enough. And Sharpie says he went back 3 years, and I feel you, but the pandemic was pretty fucked up, man, and but I absolutely hear that. Okay, so back to the spot with Freeland and Kelly. Let's take a look at the line history here. Oh, I think I just did that. My bad. Sorry, I had it up. I don't know if I did it, but we have a 2-cent move to Arizona. There had been a pretty legitimate move to Arizona, but just 2 cents now. From a total perspective, this opened up at 11.5 and dropped to 11. We go down to the first 5. This opened up at 6.5. I got in at 6.5. It was available last night. Now, Pinnacle had already moved it to 6, but Bet365 hadn't. And that was, something that just kind of pushed me to say, Bet365 will. So let's take this advantage right now, and that's what I did. So I'm on the first 5 under 6.5. Let's go over to the cash flow here on this spot in Coors. We have 51% of the tickets and 87% of the cash on Colorado and Kyle Freeland. And then we have 64% tickets, 63% cash on the under. The amount of money on Freeland makes me think that other people agree with Sharpie that Merle Kelly's vulnerable in the thin air. So let's see what Bobano has to say. Take it away, Bobano. D-backs, Rockies.
Badly want to bet Arizona, but I am fearful of the track record at Coors Field. But I love him on the road usually. And Merle Kelly's been more of the same so far this year on the road as far as how he's pitched. A brilliant start against St. Louis on the road, 1 run in 6 innings. Against the Dodgers, he shut him out on the road. First start of the year, pitched. Had some walk issues, but no, on the road is where I trust him. But the numbers in Colorado have been rough for him, for sure. There was a stretch there where he pitched 3 starts in Colorado and gave up a grand total of 17 runs in 17 innings. So not very good. Now, last year he pitched in Colorado. It was better, and he did win. 1 earned run, 5 hits, and 7 innings. Last year, it was on Canada Day, July 1st, and Arizona won that game 9-3 at Coors Field. So he does have that one good start at Coors Field, and it was the most recent time he pitched there. So believe me, I'm very tempted. Arizona first 5 full game split here. Very, very tempted, but I'm going to pump the brakes and pass, but I lean that way.
And I got the under 6.5 at -115. So we are locked in. It's cold in Colorado tonight. So I think I like this spot. That's all. I'll leave it at that.
I apologize, Vitalis, but I'm a Merrill Kelly guy. I ain't stepping in front of him, especially on the road. But I am concerned about some of those bad outings in Colorado.
All right, let's move on. We have 2 games left before NBA. Cincinnati Reds, 9:40 p.m. Eastern. At the Oakland Athletics, 2-10 now at home. Oakland Coliseum in Oakland, California. We'll go over to the weather here in Oakland. 60 Fahrenheit, 9.3 miles per hour to right field. Goes down to 8.1 miles per hour. Let's go over to the line history here in this one. And we have Kyle Muller listed. Okay, it's not listed in some of these spots, but yeah, Cesa versus Kyle Muller, let's take a look at the line history here. We have the Reds opening up at minus 123. Now they're minus 105. That's a big move to the A's at home. Surprising move to the A's at home. Then this total opened up at 8.5 as a pick 'em. There's been a 7-cent move to the over. So a move to the over and a big move to the Oakland A's. We got razor sharp picks in the house. Big show tonight here on Pub Sports Radio. And it starts at 7:45 p.m. Eastern. And the main focus will be Warriors Kings, which is going to be so much fun here on the channel. Of course, Razor will be handing out horse racing winners as well. Okay, let's go over to the cash flow. We know that there's been this move towards the A's and a move towards the over. 45% of the tickets and 93% of the cash on the Oakland A's. Wow. That's wild. 91% of the tickets, 96% of the cash on the over. That is also wild here. Mike M says he's hitting around 70% this year, so he'll give him as long as it isn't over minus 130. I'm sorry, I missed what you were talking about, Mikey, my man. But let's talk Seiya Muller. Seiya last start, 4 2/3, 6 hits, 2 earned runs, 4 Ks, no walks. It was pretty good. 2-1 loss to the Pirates. It was not a bad performance. Kyle Muller coming off getting touched by Texas. 5 innings, 7 hits, 4 earned runs, 1 homer, 3 Ks, 4 walks. The Reds aren't hitting lefties, 242, 663 OPS, but they're hitting lefties harder than the A's hit righties, 208, 639 OPS. Reds bullpen 3.40 ERA, 1.26 WHIP. The A's bullpen atrocious, 6.75 ERA, 1.71 WHIP. Ross Pitt says Reds are suck on the road. The Reds are 1-9 on the road, and the A's are 2-10 at home. But somebody's got to win this game. Take it away for us, Bobano. Reds, A's.
Yeah, definitely. It's loser should be relegated type of game here with the Reds and the A's the way it's been going. But Luis Sessa, I don't trust. Okay, I know he was better against, and look, Pittsburgh's been hitting this year, so I guess you should be somewhat impressed with 2 runs allowed in 4.2 innings. Pitched pretty well. Got absolutely destroyed though. But before that, 16 runs, 21 hits, and 2 starts against Atlanta and Philadelphia. It was with the Yankees. It was years ago. He pitched against Oakland, gave up 4 runs in 4 innings, which isn't great. I don't trust him here. And the problem is Oakland, you're right. They're just not hitting righties at all. You got to have faith in them. But, against the Angels, we did see, and actually all the last 4 games, all against the Angels, the Oakland Athletics lineup came to life a little bit. 11, 14, 17, 24 runs put up on the board by the A's in those 4 games. So, I just think there's a chance here that we could see Oakland do some damage here against Sessa. On the flip side, the Reds coming off, of course, a very good 3-game home sweep against Texas. They scored a bunch of runs in that series, 19 runs in 3 games in that one, facing Muller here for the A's, who to me, I think has the potential to be a solid mid to back end of the rotation pitcher, but just hasn't been consistent enough really for my liking. So that has me looking at the over here in this game, even with, again, some concerns about how, the A's offense sometimes can be a little bit shaky. I'm going to buy in on the fact that they put forth a really good series at the plate against the Angels. Maybe some signs they're starting to get a little bit more pop going at the plate. And again, I think Sessa will not scare them. Likewise, Muller will not scare the Cincinnati lineup either. So for me, I'll go over 8.5 minus 112 at Bet99.
Yeah, I'm with Piker. There's just too much money on this over for it not to move more than 5 cents. It's almost all of the money on the over. And, Seiya coming off a nice start. And the Reds not being able to hit lefties. So over 8.5 for Bobano. I just feel like at least there's been 5 cents of movement, but if we had done this show at noon, we were doing it obviously, but if we had done this game at noon, there would have at that point been a 5 cent move to the under. Seiya coming off his first good start. The A's are hitting, and that's true, but something's not right about this. What are they giving me for a first 5 under so I can stay away from the A's bullpen? Here, something's just off here. Oh, it's moved to minus 120 to the over, so 4.5. God, something just doesn't feel right here. Okay, I'm going to move on the first 5 under 4.5 in this spot. North Ender says open at 8 at Bet Online. You know, those with the limits on Bet Online, just testing things out. I mean, isn't that a sign even there? I mean, what knowing that they have one guy with a 10 ERA, another guy with a 7 ERA, they know that they're going to get a ton of action on the over. But let's just go to that quickly here. So Bet Online total full game. Here we go. Bet Online. Okay, let's see. So yeah, it opened up at 8, juice to the over, and it moved to 8.5 within 10 minutes. Okay, so that's legit. That's legit. Maybe I don't need to get to the window on it. Huh. Okay, I'm not going to sit here and hum and haw. I don't know if I have the conviction. Now, first off, I'm just doing the first 5, so, you know, Bobano and I could both hit, but Joe Yerger says Reds bullpen's been great last 10 days. Bullpen sucks. I think Reds full game is the play. And Vital says let's just pass the last game. Lines are messy and sharps are on Redbirds. No, we passed nothing. It's called due diligence, my friend. I'm thinking about being on the first 5 under 4.5. I'm going to need a little bit more time on that. Let's move into the final spot on the board here. And then we get into NBA with LJ from H-Town. 10:10 p.m. Eastern, St. Louis Cardinals 10-16, 5-8 on the road to the LA Dodgers 13-13, 6-6 at home at Dodger Stadium, Los Angeles, California. We'll go over to the weather at Chavez Ravine, 60 Fahrenheit, 8.5 miles per hour out to right field, gets down to 6.7. Pitcher's ballpark, kind of chilly, but blowing out. Then we'll go over to the line history here for this one. We have the Dodgers opening up minus 141. They're now minus 130, so an 11-cent move there towards the Cardinals. Let's go over to the total. This total opened up at 8.5 as a pick 'em. There's been an 11-cent move to the over. In fact, it got up to 9 more than once. Got up to 9 a few times, 3 times. Always come back to 8.5. So a movement to the Cards and a movement to the over. Let's see if the cash is correlated with that information here. We have 49% of the tickets, 52% of cash on the Cards. So just that's interesting. Then we have 77% of tickets, 96% of cash on the over. Wow. So they must think that Dustin May is vulnerable here. He's been very good this year. 2-1, 3.07 ERA, 0.92 whip. There's Millsy in the house. He's one of the stars of our new podcast here, UFC podcast, alongside Big Show Picks and Billy Brisbane. Great to see you, Millsy, my man. Please give that podcast a listen. It's excellent. We have Flaherty, 3.29 ERA, 1.35 whip. Last start, he went 6 innings, 5 hits, 3 runs, 9 Ks, 2 walks, 7-3 win at the Mariners. And then Dustin May coming off a win at the Cubs. I mean, why would they think May is so vulnerable here? Or the market, at least. Cards versus righties, 258, 745 OPS. LA Dodgers versus righties, 247, 90 OPS. Cards bullpen, 3.87 ERA, 1.31 whip. Looks a little vulnerable, but not quite as vulnerable as the Dodgers have looked. Take it away, Bobano. Very interested to hear your take. Cardinals, Dodgers.
Yeah, this is an interesting ball game here with these two. Flaherty, remember he had that awful first start against the Jays, and he couldn't locate the strike zone at all. The walks was 7 walks in that first start, and he had 6 in the next start against the Brewers and kind of struggled. But since then, he's been better, and he's given up just 9 runs in his last 17 innings. Not bad. It's been a little bit better. Let's see how he fares. He's actually really done well against the Dodgers in his career, although he hasn't faced them since 2 years ago. So it's been a while since we've seen Flaherty against them. But when he did pitch against LA, he'd given up a grand total of just 5 runs spanning 30 innings. So very impressive. 5 runs over 30 innings for Flaherty against the Dodgers. But I like Dustin May. Dustin May's someone I'd rather back than bet against. And he's had a nice season. He's coming off a good outing against the Cubs. 2 runs, 2 hits, 5.1 innings. I'd maybe look at a first 5 under here potentially. I lean Dodgers a little bit, although they're coming back from the East Coast playing in Pittsburgh the last few games and now returning home. And again, no day off for them. Whereas St. Louis, they played yesterday, no day off for them, but they're already out on the West Coast in San Francisco, and they just got to make the quick flight south to Los Angeles. So not a great, situational spot for the Dodgers because they're coming all the way back from the East. So I'm off the game.
Yeah, your breakdown makes me want to take the Cardinals, but Dustin May could pitch well here.
Yeah, I like May. And Flaherty's walks can flare up. And if they flare up against this Dodgers team, that's not the team you want to be doing that against.
Yeah, I can stay off this. I can stay off this. But if I had a free play, I'd probably bet the Cardinals. I shouldn't say probably bet. If I had a free play, I'd take the Cardinals, but I don't think I have enough conviction to actually bet it. So gonna stay off there at this point. Okay, stay off there. All right, that is MLB. Let's review all action. Here we go. The card gets started with a couple games that could get rained out, but we did the due diligence. And in the first game, Lopez over 5.5 Ks at minus 154. And Bobano has the same game parlay with the Twins first 5 and full game double result. So they have to be ahead at first 5. That's the double result. Okay. All right. Then we have another weather issue in Baltimore, Detroit, and we don't expect the game to go. We stayed off of it. Chicago Cubs, Miami Marlins, very fascinating Stroman Luzardo spot. We're off. And we're off of the Pirates Washington because that game will not go most likely. I get my card started with the Mariners first 5. I got that minus 110. That's was bet before the show. That's out there. Then I have the double up Braves first 5 minus 135, Atlanta, New York first 5 under 4 minus 105. I'd be very curious to see if this first 5 loses. It's not 100% correlated now, and I have the morning show on Friday, so I want to have action for that show on the radio, and I have a positive ROI on it. So last year, I really tried not to make any bets until we talked it all through, but I'm starting to get more comfortable with the process that I want right now. Now, this didn't work out the way I wanted to in the end, so I'll be very interested to see if the Braves' first 5 does not cash. Bobano's on the Braves' first 5 minus a half at plus 105. Then Jose is on Cleveland, Boston under 5 at minus 110 and the under 9 at minus 115. I could double up here as well, but I'm not. The market is moving towards the under on the full game under 9. Now, this better still be at 9. I don't want it at 8.5. And let's find out right now. It's still at 9. Great. So we'll move on. Mike M, hip to be square play of the day right now, up 2.81 units on the season, 12 and 11, is the Twins Rays. And it's possible that the Twins game gets shut down. I would wait to see that game goes so that this doesn't just turn into a Tampa Bay money line bet. But we'd love the hip to be square play of the day here. And Mike, thank you for sharing that with us. Then Jose Sehe play of the day is a Rays minus 1 at minus 121. Bobano's on the over 8.5 minus 103. I'm off Eflin Giolito. Then Bobano's on Rizzo over a half base at minus 130 and the Rangers team total over 4. I'm going to be on the first 5 under 3.5 in Yankees Rangers. That'll be my action. Then Bobano is on the Angels first 5 plus 108, full game plus 120, and team total over 4 minus 134. Bobano going heads up with Ron Crawford on the spreadsheet play of the day. The Meadowlark Lemon play of the day, Washington moneyline plus 118. I believe I have that already here, copied and pasted with the other stuff off the top, and I do have it, but I'm going to grab it again and put it in the Nats game. Thank you for sharing that with us, Jorge, my guy. Back to the review of all action here. We have Rizzo over a half base, the Rangers team total over, and I'm going to be on the first 5 under 3.5. I haven't bet that yet. The Angels triple up for Bobano going up against spreadsheet. Then we have the under 7.5 in Philadelphia, Houston for me. Under 7.5. I'm going to try very hard not to double up. I'm on the first 5 under 6.5 minus 115, Arizona, Colorado. Bobano's on the over 8.5 at minus 112 in Cincinnati, Oakland. I'm going to be on the first 5 under 4.5 in that spot. Then Cardinals, Dodgers, we are off. There you go. Bobano, great to have you back in action with us on a Friday, my friend. Get that cash. Thank you for your time with us and keep up the great work, my man. Follow Bobano on Twitter at Bobano. Any last words, Bobano, for the Cappers supporting the show?
No, that's it. Great to be back. I'll be back in a couple weeks. Everybody have a great weekend. Cash some tickets. LJ from HTown coming up for the NBA for tonight. So tune in. Stay tuned for that. And we'll see you again next time. Have a good weekend. Cash some tickets.
There he is, Bobano, coming to us from Canada's Steel Town, Hamilton, Ontario. We go from Hamilton, Ontario, down to Houston, Texas. We welcome our next guest, who has been really good on the show, but he's a very competitive capper, and that's part of why he's so excellent. And he is not happy with his record. He's 49-43, hitting at 53.3%, plus 3.13 units, an ROI plus 3.40% with an average line of minus 102. ROI plus 3.40%. Any professional gambler would like that. Again, you need your unit size to be big enough for that to bring in enough money to make it your sole source of income. But I think that's a very strong record. But I love the fact that he is not pleased that that's his record. I love cappers on that edge. And your next guest is on that edge. And we haven't had him on the show here in too long. In fact, the last time he joined us, he went 11-3 on this show. And that was down in San Antonio. Now, he's rolled with me on Sunday night live streams, but he's here in person here on Friday. Please welcome to the show. We head to HTown for this one.
Pub Sports Radio's the crew, that's a fact. We all about bread, making bank accounts fat. Who the hell is that? LJ from the H, I stack green like Boston. Shout out to Nasty Nate from down south, where we ride on slab. 420 highway smoking with that boy Dabby Cab. Swing by Dallas with them Cowboy fans so we can smoke out J Money, cause you know that's our mans. Us against the bookies, put money in our pockets. Fly out to Vegas, meet up with Ski Profit. Hit the sports books, we got money to stack. Can't forget them college picks with that boy Connor Mack.
LJ, welcome. It's been too long. You are a sight for sore eyes. I'm excited to cap with you. How are you, my man?
I'm doing excellent, Jimmy. I'm on my lunch break. Had to, tell my job that nothing is going to stop me from being on Betting with the Bag. Like you mentioned, I want my record to improve. So I'm not going to miss any more weeks of these playoffs because I want to be strong. So let's get to work. We got 2 games, excellent games tonight. So let's get to it.
Let's get right to it. This is our showcase game here on Pub Sports Radio tonight. Our NBA Live bet stream starring Razor Sharp Picks and Dabra Kadabra. Sacramento Kings 48-34, 25-16 on the road at the Golden State Warriors 44-38, 33-8 at home. We're at the Chase Center in San Francisco, California. The series has been played at a very fast pace. 104.40 possessions a game. Speaking of very fast paces, Lou Chase Fox, his notes on the game yesterday saved me a losing bet. And thank you, Lou Chase. Lou Chase talking about how there's a feeling out process between some of these offensive teams. And once that's done, the speed heightens and the score follows suit. Let's take a look at the line history here for this one. And you guys know I have the futures on the Warriors that I bet late. I bet my only futures, other than to make the playoff props that we got in on with about a month left or 2 months left in the year, are the Knicks to win the East. I made them official picks. I didn't make Knicks to win the chip official, but I did sprinkle on that at 100-1. But I made the East at 33-1, of course, to win the series. And I'm on the Warriors to win the West at plus 333 and to win the chip at 9-1. And I was extremely enthused by what I saw in Sacramento. Here we go. Warriors opening up at -7. Now they're at 7.5, a half-point move towards them. From a total standpoint, it's opened up at 235, and it's now at 236. We take a look at the cash flow here. We have 36% of the tickets and 65% of the cash on the Golden State Warriors. That's clear, sharp action to me. 60% of the tickets, 59% of cash on the over, and we've seen that go up a point. The Warriors played with the fastest pace during the regular season, 102.54 possessions a game. So it's gone up 1.86 possessions a game. In the series, Kings played 100.99 possessions a game, good for 12th in the league. The Warriors come in off that massive 123-116 road win. Hearing Draymond Green talk after the game, I was like, God, he seems like a locked-in leader to me. I don't know what anybody else sees, but I see a guy, a team player who is completely locked in for the greater good. It was his first 20-point game since Christmas Day 2019. Curry went for 31. Clay went for 25. Wiggins went for 20. Looney had 22 boards. They had 11 offensive boards. They only turned the ball over 14 times, and it didn't matter that Curry shot 2 of 10 from 3. De'Aaron Fox has a fractured tip of his left index finger. He had a series low 24 points. The Kings went ballistic from 3 in the first quarter and then couldn't hit a bucket from 3 in the final 3 quarters, going 2 of 22. Can't wait to hear your breakdown. LJ from HTown. We have Nut Flush Allen in the chat. It's his birthday today, and he wants to know what you're moving on because he will be in Vegas this evening. Take it away, LJ. Kings, Warriors.
Wow, I'm so jealous, Nut Flush. Wish I was joining you, my guy. But happy birthday to you, sir. I am on the over, Jimmy. That's my final decision, over 235. Both these teams are averaging around 233 for the series, so I believe one more bucket should get us over that total. They shoot a lot, 4-1. And the Kings, my issue with the Kings is what you just mentioned. They went 2 for 22 in the last 3 quarters from the three-point line the last game. And if you're going to do that, there's no way you're going to beat the Warriors because that's what the Warriors do. They shoot threes. So for you to try to keep up with them shooting the three-point shot, I don't believe that's a recipe for you to succeed. 3 of the 5 games, you shot below 25% from the three-point line already. So I believe that the Kings should concentrate on focusing on scoring in the paint. They're a plus 4-point margin in the paint on the series. So if they continue to just pound the paint, get the referees to make whistles, get the Warriors in foul trouble, get into that penalty early, that's where I believe the Kings can be successful. They already are a fast-paced team. They like to play the passing lanes, get steals and things like that. So if they can get turnovers on the Warriors, pound the paint, don't play the three-point game with them because I don't believe you're going to be able to succeed. They have 2 of the greatest three-point shooters of all time on their team. Now, as far as Golden State, they need to really focus on not turning the ball over. And, for instance, the pressure that they have is the experience is what's driving them over these Kings. You know, the Kings are a better team, I believe, as far as the roster. But I think that the Warriors are more experienced. And I believe that's what's going to overtake them tonight. And I do believe the Warriors do win the game. I don't want to step into the home court, you know, if they're a juggernaut when they're at home, especially in the playoffs. Steve Kerr has this immaculate record of, you know, at-home playoff games. So I don't want to step into that. I do believe the Kings cover the 7.5, though. But I'm not going to bet it because I have to see it for them to go to a Game 7. And then I will be all on the Kings if they win this game and go to Game 7. That's for sure. But as far as this game, I'm just going to stick to the total for the over. The Warriors have been outscoring the Kings the last 3 games. The first 2 games, they went 3-0-1. They only won 3 quarters, in the first 3 games. Since then, the Warriors are 7-4-1 in all the quarters. So they're winning pretty much every quarter. They're tying a couple of them as well. But I just believe Draymond Green, now if he comes off the bench, I think he's going to be more effective as he's been doing. So I'm going to take his PRA over 23.5 minus 109 because he's averaging 16, 7, and 7, which gives you a 30. So he's well over that. So if he comes off the bench, he should be able to cash that. And for Steph, I'm always on Steph. Over 31.5 points, minus 113. There's no way that you not can play this. He's at home. He's averaging 31 points. So I don't see why he can't get 31 points tonight. He had a bad shooting game last night from the 3, 2 for 10. So I believe he's going to bounce back today at home. I love taking players that have a bad shooting performance coming back the next game. So I do believe he performs well. And my last prop is Klay Thompson, over 4.5 threes, minus 126, because he's had 5+ threes 3 out of the 5 games of the series. So those are my 3 props. And like I said, I'm just going to stick to the over. I was leaning Warriors first half because they are +3, averaging 58 points in the first half. And the Kings are averaging 55. And the Warriors are 3-2 to the first half on the season in the series. So I won't be mad at the first half Warriors. But I'm just going to stick to the over because both these teams score a lot of points. And I believe that a couple more buckets will get us over that total 235.
I love it. I love it. We have unfortunately, the markets moved to 236, and some books and Heritage Sports Interaction moved to 236.5. Are you okay? Unless you've tweeted this out, are you okay to take the over 236 at -109 for our?
Yeah, I'll take it.
Okay,
Definitely.
for record keeping purposes. Then we have Draymond Green over 21.5 points, rebounds, and assists. What was the juice on that one?
It's 23, over 23.5
thank you.
PRA, -109.
-109. That's locked in. Then Steph Curry over 31.5 points at -115. Klay Thompson over 4.5 threes at -126.
Yep.
I love it. I love the look. Von Polo loving it as well. Joe Yurkovich is on the Warriors money line and Kings plus 15.5. That same game parlay plays out at plus 105. Mike M on Green over 9.5 points at even money.
Like it.
Angel Valentine says King's going to win this game. No way. Green scores 21 points and shoots 8 for 10. One of the things about the look from LJ is, you have Steph Curry going 2 of 10 from 3 on the road. Now he gets to go back to the house. I know exactly that angle, and I love it. And then when you have somebody who can't hit shots, hit them. Look what it does. Look what Westbrook did after he started hitting a few shots. He didn't stop hitting them.
Yep.
When you get a little bit of confidence and you're not a good shooter, that can last a little bit. Obviously, I'm not saying, Angel, I'm not saying that he's going to hit 8 of 10 or anything like that. But, it can. Green's confidence right now shooting the ball can carry over. It's not, look what he did with 21 points, 8 of 10. It's not like this was this, career defining magical game. We know we always fade those, but that's in the regular season, not in the playoffs. There was a lot of people who faded Jimmy Buckets after he went for 56. And what did he do? But,
Definitely.
and I get it. But I don't know if you'll keep doing that in the playoffs. Playoffs are a different animal. And when players step up, they stay stood up,
Yes.
So, I love your looks. LJ giving us the goods here. Over 236 at -109. Draymond Green over 23.5 points, rebound assists, -109. Steph Curry, over 31.5 points, -115. And Klay over 4.5 threes at -126. We move on to game 2. 10:30 p.m. Eastern. West first round, game 6. Lakers leading the series 3-2. Grizzlies 16-25 on the road this year. Now, it was a very disjointed season. Injuries, suspensions, drama. Lakers 43, 39, 23, and 18 at home. But then, we saw what happened after the trade deadline moves. They were much, much tougher. We're at Crypto.com Arena in Los Angeles, California. I cashed on the Grizzlies first half and full game in game 5. And when you wonder if I'm doing anything with Sacramento Golden State Warriors, I just want my futures to be rolling. And I don't, at this point, with this big of a favorite, I don't really see a risk reward to my liking at this point.
Yeah, I understand that.
Here we go. This series has been played at 99.53 possessions a game. The Lakers and Grizz both had quick paces during the regular season, both very similar. 101.92 for the Lakers, 101.50 for the Grizzlies. Let's pull up the line history for this one. We have the Lakers opening up at -4.5, and that's where they are right now. Now, this opened at 4.5 at 6:08 a.m. yesterday at Pinnacle, and then it moved to 4 and back to 4.5. I came close to betting Memphis. I came close, but I certainly didn't want to do it before we all talked it out, and I wanted to study it more. And so, but I did come close, and then I stopped myself. Total wise here, this opened up at 219, and it's now at 220. I want to take a look at what BetOnline opened it up at, because I don't know if that gives the fairest estimate, setup, because this is better. We know that Pinnacle opened it up on the morning of yesterday, but BetOnline opened this up on Wednesday night, 9:59, and the total was 222. So it was 222, and in 10 minutes, it dropped 2.5 points. That's a massive drop. So I just wanted that to be, so everyone understands that this isn't a total that's actually creeping up. It was a total that was probably lined wrong, with this much involved in the game, this much importance in the game. All right, so let's pull up the cash flow here for this one. We have 57% of the tickets, 69% of the cash on the Lakers. That's something I don't want to get in the way of. 48% of tickets, 74% cash on the under. The Grizz come in off a 116.99 home win to keep their season alive. Desmond Bain has guaranteed that this series will go 7. Win or lose, I like it. I like it. I don't care. I don't care about is it giving bulletin board material for the Lakers? No. He's just letting his squad know that he believes in them, and I like it. I'm fine with it. So they have not won in LA this year. Lost twice in the playoffs. They lost twice in the regular season. Bain went for 33, 10, and 5. He's a gamer. Ja went for 31, 10, and 7. Where the fuck is Dylan Brooks, man? When you talk that talk and you can't walk it, God damn, it just doesn't look good, man. 8 points, 3 of 15 shooting in game 5, shooting 30.3% in the series, 21.6% from 3. Speaking of not being able to hit anything from 3, look at LeBron's numbers, and I can't wait to hear your thoughts on what he's going to do here. He's 6 for 36 from 3 in the series, and AD coming off a 31-19 performance. Ooh, we are these two fantastically exciting games. Both will be live bet here on Pub Sports Radio with Razor Sharp Picks and Dabra Cadabra. LJ, take it away. West first round, game 6, Grizz, Lakers.
Yeah, this is going to be an interesting game, Jimmy. All the people on the Lakers, I get it. You know, they're the favorite. They're at home. They're up 3-2. So, but I listened to LeBron in the press conference, and he's mentioned heavily that him and AD have not had a good game both together in the same game. Either he has a good game, AD has a good game, but they haven't done it together in the same game. And that's the issue that's concerning him. He's playing a lot of minutes. He's getting tired. So if you know LeBron James, you know that he likes to get his team going early in the game. He assesses how the other defenses playing them. And towards the end of the game, LeBron likes to pick it up and be the closer. You know, he wants to be more of a facilitator and let his team get going early. That's the type of player he is. So I'm interested to see how they're going to attack this game early because, Jimmy, each team that has won the first quarter has ended up winning the game in this series. So I think that's just a simple cap right there live. If you're watching this game live, whoever wins the first quarter, just bet that team live to win the game. That's pretty much how I see this going. I'm interested to see how can I understand the Lakers are probably the better team. They got 2 of the top 10 players in the league for the most part. But I'm just trying to see how can they stop Ja from getting in the lane. He's been doing it pretty much the whole series. Bain shooting threes. I think he had maybe 1 not off game really or 2, but he's capable of hitting that 3. And then you got Jared Jackson banging down the boards and scoring. So those 3 key guys right there is who the Lakers have to stop. So I don't know which of those 3 is going to have a big game tonight because one of them is going to. And I also heard Bain in the press conference as well said they're going back to Memphis in a game 7 at home. He said it. So I'm pretty sure that they're going to be locked in tonight. Now, how they come out and perform is a different story. So I'm going to be interested to see that because the Lakers have to stop Memphis in transition. Make it a half-court game because when they're getting steals and they're running, that's their game. You can't stop them that way. And I don't think the Lakers can play that way. Lakers are a half-court team. They like to pound the ball, get it inside, which brings me to Anthony Davis. He has to be dominant tonight in order for the Lakers to win this game, especially by the spread. You know, 4.5 should be enough for them to win, but I just don't know how they're going to respond, to be honest. I've seen all of the games, and Memphis has been close pretty much, probably without one, because you do know that even though they're down 3-2, Memphis has scored 100 points in every game. The Lakers didn't score 100 points in 2 games, and they are 0-13 when they're being held under 105 points. So if Memphis can come out and play defense, you know, and the Lakers like to shoot the 3, they're shooting 25% from the 3-point line right now. You know, they love to shoot the 3. You just mentioned LeBron's numbers. So they're not shooting the ball effectively from that arc. So I believe get the ball in the paint with Anthony Davis. I believe he's the dominant factor. He's going to dominate on the boards, and he blocks shots as well. So he has to be the defensive monster tonight. So that's one of my props. Over 24.5 points for Anthony Davis, minus 110. He has to dominate tonight. I don't see anything different. He has to not get hurt for one and just set the tempo of the game. And, of course, I'm going to jump on LeBron, double-double, minus 157. I know it's juice, and it's a reason why. Because he's averaging a double-double in the series. So why not take it? You know, the juice is worth the squeeze sometime, you know, so I believe that. So I'm going to take that. And Austin Reeves, PRA, over 25.5, minus 121. He's averaging a 27 PRA. He's the third impactful player on that team. So you got Anthony Davis, LeBron, Austin Reeves. Those three players have to be effective enough for the Lakers to win. Then you can chip in with other players like Russell. You know, Hachimura comes off the bench, gives them some productive minutes. But I just believe those three guys are going to be the determining factors tonight to win this game. Stop Memphis from getting in the paint. You know, keep them off the free throw line as well, because they shoot a lot of free throws too, but you're giving them the free throws by fouling them. So keep them off the free throw line, make them a jump shooting team, and let's see if they can hit those shots. Now, if they can hit those threes, hey, hats off to them. We're going to a game 7 if they win the game. But I believe the Lakers can defend enough, especially in the fourth quarter, which they play well, have the lead, and bring home the win. But I'm just going to stick to I didn't make my play, huh? What am I going to play, Jimmy? You know what? I'm going to take the Lakers minus the 4.5 because they're at home. The home crowd's going to be effective, and Memphis' record on the road, you know, against the spread is just ferocious. So I'm going to ride that trend. They're going to have to prove it to me that they can cover this spread, win the game, or go cover the spread, you know, or they can win the game and go back to Memphis in game 7. But I'm going to trust the Lakers take business. Minus 4.5 will be my play.
Yeah, I think this will be a 5 in, you know, about 3 hours, 2.5 hours. Mm-hmm. The market is, you know, as Troy is saying, it's very similar to the Grizz game. I feel like, you know, that market did change later in the day, because when we were doing the show, I was pretty concerned about the market, but then it moved later towards the Grizzlies, and you know, that concern was taken away. I like that we're getting under 5 points. I'll look to probably a live bet this, because there's going to be a chance when you know you'll get the Lakers around even money. So I will look to live bet the win. You know, so I'll be looking for that. I'll look the same thing for the Warriors. I think it'll be easier for the Lakers. And I'll be very interested to see just exactly what kind of character this Grizzlies team has. I'll be very, very, very interested in it. BJ has made a 2-team parlay: Boston Bruins and LA Lakers money line. BJ been running real nice here on the show. Thank you for sharing that with us, BJ. Locked in. Let's review LJ's action. I'm going to be joining him on the Lakers pregame. I'd like to have that pregame. So we have, and Troy agreeing. Yeah, I'm with you. After the breakdown, studying the market, sitting with a little while, seeing that it's moved to 4.5. So yes, I like it. Let's review LJ's action. He's on AD over 24.5 points at minus 124.
Minus 110. Minus 110.
Thank you. That's why we do this. LeBron James double minus 157. Austin Reeves over 25.5 points, rebounds, and assists at minus 121. And the Lakers minus 4.5 at minus 105.
Yep.
Oh, LJ, I like it. He's given us a 4 spot on each game. To review in Kings Warriors, he's on Curry over 31.5 points, minus 115. Thompson over 4.5 threes at minus 126. He's on Green over 23.5 points, rebounds, and assists at minus 109, and over 236 at minus 109. There you go, LJ. I love it. It is great to have you back in business with us. Great to have you back on the show. I'm going to be very excited following your action.
Can I mention something for the Suns and Denver's
of course.
game just quick? because I'm not going to be on the show to talk about the
Absolutely,
first
yeah,
game.
definitely.
I'm interested to see how Jokic is going to be effective in this series because he leads that team in every category for the most part. So I believe that Denver is handicapped with him to where if he gets in foul trouble and he gets off the court, who's going to make up that production on Denver besides Jamal Murray? Because the Suns have 4 players that can be impactful in a game, for the most part. And the fact that Booker and KD is shooting 40% from the three-point line right there, it's going to be hard to step in front of that if you're Denver. Now, I believe it's going to be a competitive matchup, but I just believe Kevin Durant is the X factor in that series. So I've already bet it. I bet Denver will win the first game, but I bet the Suns to win the series. I believe it's plus 267, and I got the Suns winning 4-1 plus 657, I think, something like that. So I've already bet that series. I'm going to bet every game individually as well as we see how it's going. But it's just interesting to see. I don't believe Denver's going to be able to score enough because they're only averaging 21 free throw attempts a game. The Suns are averaging 28, and that's because of Kevin Durant. He's getting 10 free throw attempts a game. Booker's giving you 6 free throw attempts. So that's 16 points right there that you're getting from the free throw line when the clock is stopped. Now, can the Suns rebound? Because Denver is a good rebounding team. The Suns struggle on the offensive board. So as long as they don't give up those second chance points, keep Denver to 1 possession, make them beat you. And I believe that the Suns have more foul power to knock Denver out of these playoffs. So that's my prediction. Suns 4-1.
Suns 4-1. Yeah, so you get the plus 175 in the first one.
Mm-hmm.
Let me give you the correct score. Here we go. So the Suns 4-1. I got plus 650, but you can easily get better than that. What did you get?
I got to look it up.
Okay.
Right quick while you
okay.
That. I'm sorry.
I love the breakdown. Look, and you want those to be official for your record.
I want those to be official for my record.
Absolutely. Absolutely, guys. So Nuggets
right here. Denver Suns series correct score. Phoenix Suns win 4-1 plus 650. And I have exact series outcome. Denver versus Suns. Game 1 series outcome. Nuggets win game 1. Suns win the series plus 275.
Oh wow. Because I only have plus 170.
Yeah, I got plus 275.
Wow.
Denver win game 1. Suns win the series.
What book is that at?
You wager. Okay. Offshore.
No, it's all good. Wow,
Yeah.
That's much better than. Let me just double check that again. It's game and series double. Nuggets win. Oh, you're right. No, I did that wrong. Nuggets win game 1 and lose series. I got plus 300. I'll give you my 300.
Okay.
That makes more sense because that caused like where 175. That makes more sense. Okay, you got, and did you see what you got on the Suns 4-1?
Yeah, it's plus 650.
Plus 650. Okay, I got it.
Yeah,
okay.
plus 650.
Beautiful, locked in, LJ. Thank you so much for taking the time to roll with us. It means a ton to us. Follow our guy LJ on Twitter. He's just selfless as can be, putting out all his action for everybody to cash. So please follow him at LJ Sports Media. At LJ Sports Media. LJ, spectacular work, my friend. Any last words for the Capper supporting the show?
Man, just keep supporting the show. Like I said, I love doing this. This is what I want to say. Don't let nobody stop your passion and your dream. Believe in yourself, keep grinding, and you will get the results. So, till then, Jimmy, thank you so much for allowing me to be on. Like I said, I want to have my record, the way it is, very competitive. So, I want to be a part of this. So, we're going to ride these playoffs out until the finals. Hopefully Boston doesn't make the finals because I don't bet Boston games. So that would be kind of a hindrance for me. But hey, hopefully somebody can knock them out. But hey, it is what it is. We'll see that happens. But other than that, appreciate the chat, man. AOD, Andrew G, North Ender showing all the love. Noli in the building, Bo Jackson. All y'all, man. Keep supporting Low Bagger for life. LJ from HTown. I'm out, man.
There he is, LJ from HTown. What a great job. What a great breakdown. All right, let's review all action. Razor Sharp pick says Sixers. Well, it's easy to cheer for the Sixers knowing that Razor's got $5K on it to win 60. for the championship. So that's an easy way for us to support it. Let's review all action on the show and then put a bow on it. We have been healthy in the black every day of this week, and not just a little bit in the black, but healthy in the black every day this week. Let's keep that going. Let's sweep the week. Stacks play of the day from Justin McElvey is White Sox over 3.5 team total. Our guy Viper NB is on the Bruins -1, Nats team total over 3.5. Minnesota Twins -1.5, and the Angels first 5 in full game money line. So that correlates with Bobano. Slatsy's on Bruins money line and the over 5.5. That same game parlay pays him +160. He's also on the Bruins team total over 3.5 +100, and he's on Pasternak over shots on goal at 4.5 +100. That's a similar look. Bobano also on that over shots prop. There we go. So Billy Friedrich has a reverse puck line parlay tonight. By the way, Dallas Stars -1.5, Canes -1.5. That pays out $12.45. So just under 12.5 to 1. A Meadowlark Lemon play of the day, Washington Nationals money line +118. Before we do our final review, I really want to thank Sammy Culmer, Michael Piccioni, Maxwell, and Sean Pulliam for the donos on the show. I know how hard you guys work for your cash. I know how difficult it is, being cappers. So thank you for sharing your hard-earned money with us. It means a ton to us. Thank you. Here we go. 7 p.m. Eastern, Carolina Islanders. Bobano is on the third period over 2 in every game tonight. +128 here, and he's on the over 5 at -130. I stuck to my plan and didn't add anything. I have the Bruins -1 for 2.5 units. I have the Bruins team total over 3.5 for 1 unit. So I'm heavily invested in this hockey game. And I've been on a really nice run this week. And also, if the Stars win, that's a $500 bet there. So, feeling good about the situation I'm in right now. Bobano's on Pasternak over 4.5 shots. Pasternak goal +105. Marchand goal +210. Bruins team total over 3.5. He's also on the over 6 at -120. And, of course, the third period over 2 at -122. So then next up here is Bobano's on the Stars +100. Third period over 2 at +122. I told you guys my plan there. And, it's just, you could call it like a lot of people would rather just let a $500 bet run. I don't. I have $100 here because I was, angry and drunk when I made the $500 bet. I would have preferred a $300 bet. Had I made a $300 bet, I wouldn't touch anything on it. Even 400, I wouldn't even hedge. But 500, I'm going to put $100 on the Wild money line tonight. That $100 investment on the hedge will carry over. So it'll be, around 190 or 195 or so on the money line if they win game 6 to win game 7. Just have no concerns whatsoever and be in the black either way. Then Bobano's on the over 5.5 -125 in Colorado, Seattle. Third period over 2 at -108. Schwartz over 2.5 shots at -118. Slatsy's on that Schwartz prop, and Bobano wanted to get involved. Then in MLB, Bobano on Pablo Lopez over 5.5 Ks -154 in the same game parlay. Twins of double result. First 5 full game. We stayed off Baltimore, Detroit, but if it looks like the game is going to start and then be delayed, I'm going to bet the Orioles. I like their bullpen a lot. And I know I won't need to deal with Eduardo Rodriguez, and I'll be expecting to make a lot of to have a real gambling advantage because Rodriguez is pitching very well right now. Cubs, Marlins, no action. Pirates, Nats, no action. I'm on the Mariners first 5 at -110. I'm on the Braves first 5 -135. I'm nervous about that. I'm on Atlanta, New York Mets first 5 under 4 -105. Bobano's on the Braves first 5 -1/2 +105. Those bets have been made already, as has the Colorado Arizona first 5 under 6.5. Jose's on Cleveland, Boston first 5 under 5 and full game under 9. I'm about to move on the full game under 9. Mike M's hip to be square play today is Twins Rays parlay at +128. His hip to be square play today is 12 and 11 plus 2.81 units. Jose's on the Rays -1 at -121. That's a save play of the day. And Bobano's on the over 8 at -103. Bobano's on Rizzo over a half base. Rizzo over a half base. Yeah, thank you for doing that, Bo. Thank you, my man. He's on Rangers team total over 4, and I'm going to bet the first 5 under 3.5. I think Clark Schmidt starts pitching really well, and we know DeGrom is, the best. Thank you, Remos. Yes, I'll be on Sports Rage with Gabe Morency tonight at midnight. am excited. I love Gabe very, very much. I've been a big fan of his for a long, long time, and had the pleasure of hanging out with him and partying with him in Costa Rica and in Vegas. And I just feel very thankful that he wants me on his show. Ron Crawford spreadsheet play today is Milwaukee -1. That's going heads up with Bobano, who's on Angels first 5, Angels full game, Angels team total over 4. And we already heard from Vipe that he's on Angels first 5 full game too. I don't want to double up on this Nola Valdez spot. I prefer the full game under 7.5. That's what I expect I'm going to do. I already told you the under 6.5 in Arizona, Colorado for me. Bobano's off that spot, but Bobano's on the over 8.5 in Cincinnati, Oakland. And I'm going to go on the first 5 under 4.5. St. Louis Dodgers, we are off, and we've already reviewed all of NBA. That is our show for today. Connor Mack will be joining Jose on the Say Hey plays of the day today, but the Walking Dead pops off in 50 minutes. 2:18 p.m. right now, in 52 minutes. Walking Dead. And then at 5 o'clock, Say Hey plays of the day. And then at 7:45 p.m., we have our big NBA live bet stream. Big NBA live bet stream. The Gamblers first glance, Lakers, Memphis under 220. Lakers, Memphis under 220 from Razor Sharp Picks. I like that look too. I am going to move on the Lakers pregame at 4.5, but I may do more than that. Joe Yurkovich on the over 8.5. That is our show for today. Let's sweep the week. It's been very nice. We're 26-16 on the week, plus 9.37 units. That includes going 4-6 in NBA, down 2.2 units. So we're up over double-digit units. We are up 11.57 units in NHL and MLB combined. Let's keep that going, because 1 week from today, it's the Kentucky Oaks. And in 8 days from now, it's the Kentucky Derby. And we're going to be betting a lot on all of those races. Thank you guys so much for your support. We have nothing without you. Joe Yurkovich, Bo Jackson, Razor Sharp Picks, Big Show Picks, Nut Flush Allen, happy birthday, my friend. Real Deal Prime, North Ender, Rem Most, Mike M, Ken Mizrahi, Billy Friedrich, Sharon Pulliam, Angel Ballantine, Joe Yurkovich, Ross Pitts, Gerald Jones, Vipe, Von Polo, Piker, Noli. Thank you guys so much. Tell me you didn't just say that. AYOD. Thank you guys, all of you. Andrew G, Saturated, Troy Torrance, BJ, Alfred. Thank you guys. G Martinez, Wine Time, all you guys. Ray Charles, Chili Dog Dooley, Danzo. Thank you guys. Now, let's go out there and get paid in full. We've been locked in all week. We stay locked in, baby. We get that cash. We're going to get that shit tonight. So we're going to milk these motherfuckers. Leche, los bookmakers.